Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 323 of 10 o'clock. The first episode of 10 o'clock of the year 2020. We are now officially in the future. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It's good to see you all here. So, with me in the future, where we have Spaceman Xeno. We have
Space Goat.
Oh, yeah. That's me now.
Oh, you're Space Goat, Xeno. Cool.
Yeah, we swapped, remember? Last Dreamcast?
Yeah, cool.
We have Space Goat Xeno and Spaceman Michel.
No, other way around. Spaceman Michel here, Space Goat Xeno up there.
Yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough. Right, there we go. And, well, we're going to discuss to everyone who is listening for about, I don't know, I'm going to guess 2 hours, 22 minutes for the sake of it, about...
What did you do?
Nothing. About 10 o'clock? No, we're going to talk about Warframe. So, as we begin every episode, as always, we have emblems. So, Michelle, pick emblems.
Pick them.
All right,
Just pick
let's
them.
take a look. So, what I see right here, the first one, depends to where you look on the screen right now, or if you don't have a screen, where you look in your mind's eye. We have one which is very reminiscent to me to the emblem of Fold the Hero. It's this actually like really cool kind of like feed-like design. But I actually pulled up Fold the Hero's glyph, and it's not the same.
It's slightly different, but yeah.
Yeah. I would say either it's by the same artist or it's someone who saw that and was inspired by it. It was like, I'm going to make something like that, but it isn't entirely like it. And then the other one is, it's really cool the more I look at it. So it seems like some sort of like cipher, but it could also be in a sense, like, I don't know much about astrology, but it could also be like referring to some astrology. And it's got Nintendo-bet, it's got writing along the side of it. And if I was better at Nintendo-bet, I could probably read that. So
I'd love to be able to read Tenebat. That would be amazing.
I'm looking at it, and honestly, I think it's astrological Beyblades.
okay, yeah, that's the one that's the one that wins.
Yeah. It's just like, but it does loss. Astrological Beyblades. I'm not wrong. Loz is looking into this. He's investigating closely. Loz, put your face closer to the monitor.
See, I was thinking that it was something clever, like that was supposed to be the two solar systems. One was the Tau solar system, one was our solar system, and they were sort of like hinting at the link between them or something.
Yeah.
Something like that, but no, they're now astrological Beyblades.
Yeah, astrological Beyblades.
So everyone look out in-game, that's on PC, for the clan of the astrological Beyblades. Let it rip, clearly. Right, anyway, then moving on to Dojo Dusting of the Week, Xeno.
Right, so Dojo Dusting this week. We're going to be at TennoCon 2020. Gosh, what else is there? Michelle, do you know if you're going to be at TennoCon 2020?
I still don't know.
Still don't know. But to be fair, it's like, you know, it's not something you can easily predict. You know, it requires money to just like, look, money.
Well, to be honest, at the moment, we still don't even know what the dates are for TennoCon because they'll probably announce those at the first dev stream of the week, which will probably be, as this will come out on Monday the 6th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I assume the first stream will be the 10th of January.
Oh, no.
I hope so.
The first stream will probably be like the second week of February.
Yeah.
That's the pessimism in me.
Don't they normally get one out in January where they sort of give us all of these amazing things that are going to happen this year with whiteboards of roadmaps and
I think
and
they
promises of this is the year of X.
I think they learned their lesson from what you call it, the War Within.
How many years of qualities and years of content have there been? Because
every year is a year of quality, a year of content.
Yep.
I mean, it might just very well be that they say we've already announced everything in the last TennoCon. We'll just skip this year, and then we'll do one next year.
No, I don't think they would.
No, they wouldn't.
I really wouldn't begrudge them doing that and just saying, yeah, but they can't. I don't think they can. It's their thing. They have to do it.
Well, could you just imagine like BlizzCon doing that? Yeah, I can't be bothered this year. Do it next year.
I'd rather that
No.
BlizzCon do that and become into publicity because they just didn't do nothing than if they did what Blizzard does.
Blizzard used to skip BlizzCons.
No, they did it once because of the International World Championship for oh god, don't want to say Hearth. No. I want to say StarCraft.
Yeah.
It feels something Warcraft themed. Yeah, it was like basically they had
this in France. It was StarCraft.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe they skipped one for the announcement of. No, I don't think they skipped one on the announcement of StarCraft 2. I just think they did it at another international championship thing. But I only remember of one BlizzCon that was skipped. I could be wrong. Loz has a much better memory than I do. I just talk crap half the time.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There were skips in 2006 and 2012.
2012 would have been the one that I'm thinking of. Because
they 2000 skipped it in 2006. First one was in 2005 though, so
yeah. So
I honestly wouldn't begrudge them a skip as well. It really wouldn't be an issue.
I wouldn't begrudge them giving up. Right. Okay. Yeah. Snide comment. What? Right. So moving on. So that's dojo dusting. We're going to TennoCon. I can't think of anything else particularly. So let's move on to
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Move on to Happy New Year. And now that we've moved on to Happy New Year, let's move on to the cards. Cool. Right. So first card of the week. So I originally put in the card, like, are you specifically focusing on min-maxing Railjack? But I decided to phrase it so it wasn't a negative connotation. So are you focused on min-maxing Railjack? 54 people responded, 20% said yes, 79% said no. Where are you guys at?
I'm just playing it. I don't know if I haven't got to the point of min-maxing it, but even so, I don't think what I'll be... Or are you always min-maxing it? Because you're always just working towards it.
I suppose that there's a difference between working towards it and then constantly farming the best node to get the one mod you're after, right? You know, are you constantly doing Draco to rank up your stuff? Or are you just playing it for the sake of playing it?
I think that's a stage you get to. I'm just playing it for fun.
Yeah.
I'm not specifically min-maxing Railjack yet, because when it comes to like min-maxing, like you want to find like the most efficient way to farming. You want to find the most efficient things to go for. And right now, I haven't played it in quite some time, because when I tried to like farm things, I encountered a lot of times that my mission would just bug out and I would lose everything. I was like, my best approach of min-maxing is to wait until this becomes really stable and I can play for hours and actually get my reward. So maybe I am min-maxing by waiting, but like, no, I'm not necessarily focused on min-maxing or getting my best Railjack as soon as possible.
Cool.
Not really at the moment.
I can totally appreciate that. Right, so we're going to move on to the next card. Right, so the second card, procedural generated interior or corpus Railjack. So I wanted to put like procedural generated interior versus corpus capital ships, but literally it was just way too long. So I hope it came across. We're talking about the corpus capital ships. I think this is fairly self-explanatory. Yeah?
Yeah.
Procedurally generated interior. Okay, cool. Right, so 48 people responded. 41% said procedurally generated interior. 58 people said corpus Railjack ship. Where do you guys sit?
On both.
No, but if you had to pick one first.
On both.
No, but if you had to pick one first.
Both.
You can't both.
Can.
No, you're not a Tom Scar. You can't. You have to actually pick something. Both. I saw that coming. Michel, please do not repeat what he is doing.
I will not say both, okay? I will not say both. What I will say is that I will pick corpus Railjacks with procedural generated interiors.
Okay, moving on to the next card.
No, I will explain why, actually, because I've been doing a little bit of Railjack while waiting for today. And the asteroids you always go to being the same layouts is just so... makes the game feel so small. And there's only like 4 different missions. There's the missile platform, the ship killer, the array, and I think there's one more off the top of my head. Maybe there's a couple more, but they're very samey. They're not very big. Yes, it is a little mission like an asteroid tile set. Yeah, it is. Wow, exciting. At the same time, what you do there is not dynamic. It's very straightforward, and you're just repeatedly doing the same thing ad nauseum again. It's taken years of Warframe for going from those initial missions to where we are now in like regular missions, all the different game types we have, all the different things that can come into your mission, all the dynamic things that can happen that makes it more interesting. And then obviously because it's a minimum viable product, that's what we'd scale back, and so they just feel rather weak and cold and small. And I would like corpus missions, obviously, because they'll be good, but yeah, they're both needed.
I'm just surprised that it feels very much like the way that Arkwing was delivered, with like the tiles and the thing, which I thought that was one of the biggest flaws within Arkwing, weren't like the mods and like the weird way that was flying around. It was just that flying around in space, in the space game, wasn't really all that exciting because you were either very cramped or you just had this wide field where there was nothing really. And I'm feeling the same thing where it's like the tiles where you're spawning and it's the same. It just feels the same. And I'm like, it's been 5 years since Arkwing. There's got to be something better. I don't know.
Personally, I feel that this was too much of a bare bones system, too much of a skeleton. We needed a lot more meat on it. Don't get me wrong, I do like Railjack, I do enjoy it, but only having realistically only one mission type is nice, but having to kill 90 fighters is exhausting. And it's not helped by the fact that the system still has a plethora of bugs in it. You know, I think that some of the complaints that a lot of content creators and even myself have with Railjack could be tempered if some of these faults weren't there. For example, the fact that only the host can see the heal auras that the cruise ships pump out. Right? So when you're in the Railjack, you're piloting and you're shooting the fighters, and all of a sudden, oh look, fighters are getting healed indefinitely. It's not fun, you know, and you can't do anything about it. You are at the whim of the host, either dealing with the cruise ship or the actual heal aura itself. So there's plenty of things that are holding it back, and I think this could have done with 3 to 6 months more in the oven. But the problem is they needed to get it out by the Christmas period.
Did they?
Okay.
Did they?
Okay, I think the fear is that if they didn't, then they could have lost quite a substantial volume of traffic to anything else that did come out.
You say that?
But nothing else came out.
Interestingly, as I replied to somebody's Twitter feed about this, about commenting about Destiny 2 and Warframe, I actually had to look at the data between Warframe and Destiny 2. And
you're referring to that. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like it, though.
Oh, no, I did like it. I was going to put out a reply saying, like, no, it's just scientifically stupid to say this.
However, the interesting thing you could pull from that data, which I think it was a bit odd that person didn't actually pull up on, the jump for Railjack in that time frame is rather negligible, especially in comparison to what a cinematic quest brings.
Yeah.
The point to saying, did we really need it before Christmas?
Did
the players really need it?
No, maybe you're right.
So, I think that I stand on both sides, because on the one hand, I feel... I remember Drew telling me a lot of times on the Framecast where it was like, New World will come out for Christmas, because they told us that TennoCon, they put up Christmas release on there, and that was something he was so certain about. He put platinum on it, and I think that a lot of people that I've encountered were really hoping for the new war on Christmas. And that's what they've been waiting for and like longing for. And now that we know that the new war has something to do, hopefully, with Railjack, probably with Railjack, they couldn't release the new war and not release Railjack. So new war on Christmas wasn't going to happen anyway. So they had,
we don't know that. We don't know if there wasn't a version of the new war that was pre-Railjack material. But now that it is definitely post-Railjack, they have time to go and, you need your Railjack to do this, this, and this in the mission. You just get shoved some missions in there. Oh, there's a Railjack mission in there. And it require you killing 10 cruise ships and 100 fighters. Oh, we definitely needed to do our Railjack.
No, 1,000 fighters.
Yeah.
1,000 fighters.
Yeah. But given what we know now, we're going to need our Railjack. So Railjack had to come out first. So then they at least released Railjack during Christmas so that something released when they announced someone was going to release. So on the one hand, I say, they had to release something. On the other hand, I've heard so many times people say that, if they don't release something or this release will be bad, everyone will quit Warframe. That I just don't believe it anymore because it's just not going to happen.
You're right. I mean,
it's.
I didn't realize that the Railjack release had such little impact on.
Have you looked at the numbers?
No, I haven't. No, I hadn't at all.
Oh, have you got the numbers now in front of you?
No.
You're looking it up.
I'm pulling them up now because I'm quite curious to see.
However,
let's all pull them up now.
Can we continue with the other cards?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is Loz derailed us.
Whoa.
Right. The next card is Revives for Resources versus Revive on Railjack. Do you remember this one, Loz?
Just want to make a point. When did the liches come out? Not
November?
August.
Oh god, it wasn't
November.
August. It was like October or November, something like that.
Oh, November. Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
November 2nd.
So the peak November was 87,000. The peak December was only 84,000.
Wow.
Yeah, the peaks are super similar for like the Kuvalich release, the Railjack 1 release, and then the official Aperion release.
Yeah. So, whereas you compare that to last year's release of the Sacrifice, 131,000, and then the War Within, 129,000, Second Dream, 121,000.
Yeah.
So, didn't even break 100,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that, Peter.
Right.
I'm honest.
So,
yeah, revives for resources or revives on Railjack.
Right. So we were talking about this before. The topic for Michel's purpose, for Michel, the topic was about allow us to bypass the 4/6 revives limitation within the mission by crafting extra revives from the forge in the back of the Railjack.
Mm-hmm.
Loz was exceptionally against this, and I can appreciate why. He has complete justification for it. And
Stupid.
Yeah, good job. And one of the ideas we had during the episode was, well, maybe have it so that instead of reviving out in space, you could revive back on your Railjack. So that way that if you're constantly going down in space, you can just teleport back to your Railjack instead. So you're not suiciding yourself because you don't have a good enough Arcwing setup. So,
yeah.
Right. So, 48 people responded. 8% said revives for resources. 91% said revive on Railjack. Good job, guys. Loz is proud.
Yeah.
Right. I assume both of you are revive on Railjack.
Yeah.
It would be funny if I were to go with revives and resources so we could have an interesting discussion. But no, I can see the argument of it being at that point, like, do revives even mean anything if you can just like replenish them? I think that the crucial thing with Railjack is that we have an unprecedented level of dependency on other players, where in regular Warfare missions, if players go down, like most of the time you can very quickly get to them and revive them, but even if they do die, like you can manage. And yes, you can manage with 3 people in Railjack, but with 2 it becomes really hard, and with 1 it's near impossible.
Yeah.
And you can't really get to an extraction like you can in a survival or defense you can't really, but like most missions you can then get to extraction. You really need your people. And then what you've said before with like Arcwings getting targeted and just like obliterated. If you're out into open space and you have someone, if you have a random pilot that just pilots the thing away from you, then you can just spend all your revives trying to get back and you'll just utterly fail. And it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I can see the idea of resources, but I think that a revive from Railjack that you just spawn back would be way better.
Yeah. Cool. And then the last card is Tactical Rank 11 Remote Revive. So another proposition was the idea that for more intrinsics, so introduce new intrinsics and allow it so that you can remote revive people. So if you're on the list, the Railjack or whatever, and someone's down in space, you could just go, right, revive this person. Yeah. So 49 people responded to this. 18% said no. 30% said yes and add more ranks. And 51% said yes, but don't add new ranks. So this wouldn't be a rank 11. This would be like rank 10 or something like that. What do you guys feel?
I'm conflicted in the sense of I like the idea of remote revives because of what we talked about. Well, people don't tend to revive you because it's really hard, especially on the Railjack.
Yeah.
And you can't really like scoop someone up with your Railjack to like revive them. So it would make revives easier. But then it comes to the question, do you add new ranks or not? On the one hand, I would say no, because it's already quite a grind to get your ranks, and you can't really appropriate your points. On the other hand, I'm like, well, isn't that like the point of the game, that you like grind for these things, farm them out, and like get more of these points? You spend time, like you can extend the lifetime of the system. And I think that that's a really valid point in that sense. And I think the only reason that I feel about these intrinsics being so slow and quite tedious to rank up is because the only purpose you're really given within Railjack to go to a point is like the fail for the hidden thing, which is in the fail, which everyone was like, oh my god, this thing is in here, let's go towards it. That you feel like you have to get to that rank 7 in quite a fast pace, and that's why the ranks feel quite slow.
Loz, you know what the hidden thing is, yeah?
I know of the hidden thing, but we're not doing spoiler. We are. There was a point about it. We do have console Tenno who do appreciate no spoilers.
Yeah, that's why we keep it at the hidden thing.
Don't watch the footage.
Oh shit! So you need for something. There is something in Railjack for which you're gonna need rank 7 intrinsics.
Yeah.
It's rank 6. Sorry, rank 7 in 1 intrinsic.
Yeah, in 1 intrinsic, but because that's like one of the only things within Railjack that isn't just another mission in another tile set, it's something that you really want to get to quite fast, and it really takes a long time to get to that rank 7. So given my experience of getting towards that rank 7, it's like, do I really want to add another rank? Like, it's going to take a lot of time. So that's why I would say don't add new ranks. But at the same time, if I were to forget about that, if that wasn't part of the equation, I would say, well, it would increase the longevity of the game if you were to add it as an extra rank. But anyway, I'd say yes to remote revives.
Oz, any follow-up points that you want to add?
Nah, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing is, as you were saying, longevity, because, why hasn't the focus trees been expanded? Start to expand it now, and then you can set a precedent to, oh, look, we're increasing the number of things. There we go, right? As Loz said, move on. So that's it for the cards this week. We're now going to move on to the Patreon questions.
I just had them up and I closed them. Leave me. Durgle says, would Little Duck be less annoying if she was Welsh? Kidding.
It depends on what kind of Welsh. If we're talking about the valleys, then certainly not.
How were your holidays?
They were lovely, thank you. Apart from
Michel?
the time when I had to work.
They were right. They were good.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you don't mind sharing?
Yes, get Loz to get in the goddamn torpedo tube.
Well, you know.
Okay. I'm here to convince you, Loz. We're gonna get you in a torpedo tube, fired to space, and we're gonna make a machinima style movie about it, and we're gonna call it Loz into Space.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Michel, because like I'm looking at the screen right now, and the gunnery page, it's locked at 2, and then there's like next rank, and it doesn't say anything. It seems to be bugged. I think maybe D's gonna have to look at that one.
Should we ask D for help?
Yeah, I think we need to get D to force up the issue here, and just make Loz gunnery rank 4. Yeah.
Well, if they can fix it, I'll be able to play it, but I just don't think they're going to fix it. There's probably some very big bugs going on
and
there.
Reset his other
remove that part of the game.
Can we petition DE?
So Zrugal also says Happy New Year, Zrugal. Moving on to Nick Evans. In the last dev stream of 2019, Rebecca mentioned that she was going to post the melee weapon stats for the year, but she didn't because they were skewered by the paracesis usage. Do you agree with the basic concept of dependency on a single weapon to unlock content, even if it's request reward to gate players, or should there be more a direct method of stating that you cannot even attempt that content until the correct point?
No, I think there needs to be some kind of indication that if it is something you're purposefully going to do to progress the narrative and things like that, then you should be warned ahead of time you need to take thing, right? But at the same time, with the... Crap, what was the second trial called? Something... Jordis Verdict?
Jordis Verdict.
Yeah, okay. So with the Jordis Verdict, I had no real hang-ups on the fact that you couldn't complete it your first time through because you needed to build these. So you got the resources and then you had to quit. You had to fail the Jordis Verdict in order to build the air MacGuffins in order to continue doing it. I didn't have that much of an issue with that because it is supposed to be really hard content. But when it's just something that's gated behind, oh, you need to have the right MacGuffin, you need to know the secret handshake, and you can only do it once every few hours, that felt like a bit of a dick move. It's similar to, I didn't like the fact that when Revenant came out, you had to wait like 2 hours before the first night cycle before you could even start the Revenant quest. Like, they could at least make the thing nighttime.
It's the balance of, I think they're trying to have this moment where it's like, oh, I'm just running around with my paracesis and I smack it against stuff. Oh, it did something. Oh my god, that is so cool. Or I'm walking around at night and now this Revenant quest and like, oh, this is so cool because this weapon that I got isn't just any weapon. It actually interacts with the world. And it allows me to interact with different things in the world because it's special. I think that's what they're going for. However, I think that because of the way that's implemented, in the sense of people go to do that mission just to get to the thing, and it's like, oh, I can only use this thing. It just feels like it's just locked behind something as compared to, it's not like, it doesn't feel like you're exploring something new, like the thing is interacting with the environment. It just feels like a lock on something that you're like, oh, I need to go get this thing.
Now, I disagree with that completely, that it makes the world actually more real. That at some point, either you're going to handhold the player and it's like, you must equip the MacGuffin to go through the MacGuffin quest. Mm-hmm. Well done, mighty hero. You have equipped the MacGuffin. You may now proceed onto your journey. Instead, it's just like, there is a world, and we all were told the paracesis was the ultimate sentient slaying weapon. Oh, look, we've gone to see the sentience. Maybe you should bring that important quest weapon with you. But we're not going to force you. You want to go at it without it? Yeah, sure. It's, Mm-hmm. I don't like games always hand-holding you, and I think that's perfectly fine for them to be things like that. It should just be, it's more real. It's the real world. Mm-hmm. You can, if you wanted to in a war, you could walk in front of a tank.
Yeah.
You ain't going to survive.
No,
or you could bring your anti-tank gun.
I agree, but I think there's still a missing thing in the execution, which causes people like Drew and other people around here to have complained about needing this MacGuffin or having this feeling that they need this MacGuffin and it feels so forced and just locked behind this thing.
But
there
at
are
the same
some
time, they're the niche, the front runners, the people at the very front, and they're going to disseminate that information back to every other player within 10 minutes of play. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Let's look at comparison for an MMO. The first players who get to the new raid boss don't know how to kill it, but by the time that the majority of players reach it, there'll be guides all over the internet.
So one question I have for you, Loz, is can you think of something World of Warcraft related where you've got like a raid that a chunk of the raid is completely inaccessible to you unless you took the specific optional gear item? So
you can't kill Nefarian.
Can't kill Nefarian.
Cannot kill Nefarian unless every player in the raid is well, you can try. But if you don't bring Onyxia Scale Cloaks, which is an item your characters can wear, which isn't a great cloak, and you have the cloaks before the content, they just say, in fact, the cloaks say, they're from the tier 1 of the raiding, and it says, fully protects the user from being engulfed in the Shadow Flame. That's what it says on the cape. No idea what the Shadow Flame is. The first players who get to the end of Blackwing Lair, they're like, let's go fight Nefarian! Way, the big dragon! Big dragon, and we're dead. And then you look in the combat log and it's like, you took a bajillion damage from the Shadow Flame. Oh, okay, that's a bit weird. The Shadow Flame. I wonder if we've got anything that'll save us from the Shadow Flame. Oh, look, a cape!
Is that raid locked behind a time gate, or can you access that at any point in time?
You can do it once a week, but it was released later. You could get the capes. Like the content for the capes was released at the start, and then it was probably about 8 months later before the raid that required the capes. So people were getting these capes, making these capes, not really knowing what they were needed for months and months and months, to the point that they stacked up and just gave capes to everyone before they even needed them. And then like, oh, you need these capes now. Oh, good, we've been crafting them.
Because I was thinking it might have been because, like, what Drew was saying with like the Revenant quest, like it needs to be night on the plains of Eidolon.
I want to go back to that. Sorry, I'm not gonna let that point lie now, because I've just been thinking that Xeno in the past complains about players that complain on day long or early days on the plains when they can't get all of the fish, and they just need to play, let the game play. Who cares if you had to wait 2 hours to do the Revenant quest? Just go play the game for 2 hours and enjoy the game. Why is that an answer to what you're saying? That's an argument you would put out.
It is an argument I would put out.
I think you're just bitter.
About what?
Oh, I don't like waiting for nighttime. Me, Xeno. Me, infurious and cannot wait with no patience. Me, where nighttime at? Grr, got to wait 2 hours. Busy man. Me want thing now.
No, it's not that.
Me, entitled gamer.
It's not that. The problem is you can't start it. I mean, this is the whole issue that people have with Eidolons.
Why not? Why? And you need that content, and you need that Warframe now?
No, you can't start a Tridolon until it's nighttime, right?
That's nothing to do with the quest.
No. But the whole no. I know it is. But like the whole thing about the Warframe raiding school bus was that they could put together the raid at any point in time. Right, until they actually had a full group, they had no time limit to actually getting it going. Whereas with Eidolons and things like that, you have to be prepared before you're able to start doing it, and then you can start doing it. It's not down to when you're available. It's down to you have to be available.
I'm looking at that mighty field of straw men you've just destroyed. That's very nice. It still doesn't answer my point. And also, I'll counter that point, even though I don't have to, by saying that if you're organizing yourself to do Tridolons, fair enough. You're now on this weird fight between Tridolons and raids, and it's nothing at all what we were talking about. But the thing with the Tridolons is you knew exactly that. I see what you mean.
Loz.
The point.
So you just broke up massively.
Okay. Back.
You see my point about Tridolons.
Yeah, but the thing with the Tridolons is they are regular. I could sit down now and work out every nighttime for the next 100 years in Warframe. So you can organize yourself around those timeframes. You can't do it when you want, but you can organize yourself to go do something at set time. We have to do this at 7 till 7:45. We have to do this the next day at 8:40 to 8:45. Yeah, it's not going to fit in that you're like, right, I'm back. It's 9 o'clock and I want to fight a triathlon right now. No, you can't do that. That's not how the game's playing. But at least it is regular and scheduled. It isn't just nighttime.
But a lot of people, actually, that's a fair question, right? Because all I've seen for the complaints is I don't have 3 hours to wait to do one triathlon run. Right, so
well, I'll counter that with a thing from other games, as you were saying about I'll take the World of Warcraft thing. Well, World of Warcraft, you have to do raids, and sometimes you can't raid when you want. You require 39 other people, and so everyone has to organise their time. You can't just go, it's Wednesday and the raids have reset. I want to do the raids now. No, our raid night is on Tuesday. You have to go wait till Tuesday. I mean,
no, but that's something that you can like. That is a much more macro level thing because it's a reset on a week.
They also have
time.
raids which are based on when a battleground resets, and if your side wins the battleground, you can then do the raid for X amount of time.
How long? Do you know how long the time is?
I can't remember because it's several old expansions old, but it's
was it?
I can't remember.
Days or hours?
Hours in the region of hours. You wouldn't even know when it would be.
How long is the timer on the fail thing? Is it 2 hours or something?
No, the problem with the Veil timer is it's random. It's between like an hour and a quarter and 2.5 hours. So you don't know when it's going to appear.
Okay.
On the
Veil Proxima.
Yeah.
MacGuffin.
Oh.
So I think that when it comes to this like time mechanic of having content available or not, the discussion right now centers around the question of is this a problem or not? And I think that LYWTS doesn't see this as a problem. It's just a game mechanic, and you can play around it. Or if it's random with the fail proxima, you kind of have to be lucky with it. Whereas you see it as a problem, and I can see what you're saying very well, because I've also been at the point where it was like, oh, I'm here at Warframe, let me do an Eidolon, and then just like the nighttime just faded away, and I was like, I'm not gonna. Do I have to wait like 45 minutes now? And that really sucks if that's the one thing that you're looking forward to do.
Actually,
and I think
one thing that I feel would make the Eidolon, sorry, not the Eidolon, the Veil Proxima sentient stuff a lot more appealing is if it was on its own, right? Because the problem is you have to do a full-blown mission plus the sentient stuff, which can...
You don't have to. You can just
go
in,
the other
do
side
the
is
thing.
you cheese it.
Yeah, you can go in, do the thing, and then just extract, and you're like aboard, and you've done it.
Right. So I don't know if LYWTS is aware of that, but the whole point is that if you were to do it like the proper way, say that the way that the cheesing it way is bugged, right? And in like a week's time, DE patch it out so you have to do the full mission. That's just one mission because it's only up for like 20 minutes before it's gone again. You have to do the whole mission, so you only get one shot at it.
Well,
if it was its own separate node that would randomly appear, or if you were to go do a node, oh look, it's the sentient ship instead. So
I want to cap the head on this because I feel you're wandering into spoiler territory for people. And I'd say we should leave this until it's out on consoles.
It is out on consoles. It's just not out on Switch.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
On all consoles? Yeah. So it's not out on all consoles.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Those Switch players!
Yeah, all two of them!
Let me add one thing. Yeah. Let me add one thing without getting into any spoilers. I think that a lot of this comes down to a weird psychological mechanic when it comes to playing games and having knowledge of something which you shouldn't necessarily have knowledge about at that point in time. Yeah. So I've played a lot of story decision-based driven games. And I remember in the past when I started playing these sorts of games where it's like you can choose what response you'll give the person that you're interacting with, and based off your response, they might like do different things. They might live, they might die, they might give you something at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And Warframe tried this, didn't really work out. But anyway, the thing with these things is that pretty fast people figure out a way which is the best way to come to the best outcome. And I remember when I started out with these games, it was like, oh shit, there is a best outcome. And I would always be very like obsessed with finding the best outcome, to the point where I would sometimes like replay these games having like a phone in the hand for like the best outcome and be like, okay, now I want to see what the best decision is for the best outcome. Yeah. And in a sense, like, it made me really happy to see the best outcome, but at the same time it just ruined the gameplay, because every single decision that came forward was like,
it wasn't
if I don't
decision.
pick the best outcome, this sucks.
Yeah.
However, the idea is not that you come to the best outcome. The idea is that like things happen based on your decisions. So the thing with the paracesis and the thing with like the nighttime is that your decision to just go into a place when it's night has effect on the world, and that's the feeling that DE tends to give you. And like, if you have the paraseason, you tend to come across this thing which doesn't come across often, because a sentient thing doesn't tend to come across often. It's like, well, like that's the world, and you're interacting with the world. However, because you have the knowledge that there is something more, and the only way to get it is fired this way, you don't get it. You're just getting frustrated. So I think it really has to do with like having the knowledge that there's something there, and then not being able to get it, but desperately wanting to get it, and not experiencing it as like a game experience as the game intends it to. And the fact that there's a discrepancy, like, you could ask the question, is that a problem? I don't know. On the one hand, I would say no. On the other hand, I would say yes, because a lot of people are experiencing it, and in a perfect world, people would not experience that. So why are people experiencing that? Yeah, I don't know.
One final question. Is there actually any audible cue or written cue or anything to actually indicate to players of the thing they need to take? The thing they need to do. There's nothing in the game, I don't think.
You got 50 seconds.
That's literally, I'm just asking the question, yes or no.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
I've only gotten to know because I've heard people tell me.
Yeah.
That you need it. I don't know from in game, but the same thing with Kuvaliches. Like, you don't know where to get Kuvaliches until someone tells you go to Adara.
Right. Should we move on, Loz?
Yep.
Loz is like, no.
I do believe all that was Nick Evans's Patreon point. Right, moving on. Scarlet Kingdom. What are you most looking forward to being released by DE this year, other than New War?
Content?
I don't even know. The thing is, sadly, I think that's the actual answer you'll have to say, because that's the only thing we know will 99% be released this year. Plain to Devere,
on Christmas next
year. Yeah,
I just want expansions of already existing systems. Like, you know, just you've got this vase, right? Now fucking paint it.
I think, Scarlet, that'll be a question for next week after we've seen this dev stream upcoming, where they'll probably outline the year for us.
I mean, in February.
Yeah.
Loomis asks, variant weapons have been very slow to pop up in recent years. I don't think you can say years. Yeah. At what pace do you think they should be released? By variants, I mean Wraith, Vandal, Prisma, etc.
I think there should be at least 3 events per year.
Oh, an event's... Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, there should be at least 3 events per year. It doesn't have to be an event that introduces a new mission type or anything like that, but come on, like, events were one of the best things about Warframe, because it made the universe feel... It made the universe feel like it was progressing. You know, I've got that thing from years ago. Hey! But now it's just like, you know, oh, what's this trophy room? Let me just scrape all the dust off of this. Like, you know, oh, what's this?
Love that Loki statue in the middle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Would you guys be opposed to there being more Prisma, Vandal, or Rave weapons being released? So that there will be new variants, so like new Rave weapons or new Vandal weapons coming out to accommodate these events?
Yeah.
No, I got no issue with it at all.
Yeah, they should have them. It's I doubt it takes them that long to release one of these weapons. It makes a very interesting reward. People are wanting them. They can, to be honest, even though I'm not really, I was a bit disappointed with how much of an upgrade the Optical Vandal was to the Opticore. It's more of a side grade. I know it is technically, I think, a higher damage overall, but it really does feel like a side grade weapon compared to some of them like go for the Strun versus the Strun Wraith. There's just no comparison. So, or at the time when it was released, it was a massive upgrade. So they can just make them side grades where you take the weapon and you get a very similar feel of the weapon, but it's just slightly different in either, ammo capacity, fire rate, crit rate, damage type. Just slightly different on the same theme. Easy, there we go. That's a reward, so they don't take much for that. And just put the events out. The thing is, we want to see the events. We want to see the background. The story is the biggest thing that we're missing out on from these lack of events. And we get nothing to fill that gap. It's the sad thing. Anyway, let's move on. Loomis also asks, if you could reskin Roombas to be small corgi plushies that just roll around your orbiter, would you change your opinion about them?
Yes.
Instead of corgis, I'm going to have to add in Kubro, though.
But it would have to be a Kubro
Corgi-esque Kubro.
Yeah. No, I'd do it.
Okay. Are you ready for space whaling in the void to hunt down that flying worm thing we saw in the DYWDYT trailer?
No, I need to build up my ship some more. Like the gameplay footage right now, I'm actually piloting someone else's ship because they've maxed out their stuff already. But me, it's just like, I've not had a solid enough internet connection to play over the holidays. So building up my ship.
Yeah, I would love to be able to take like a week off and just really sink my teeth into Railjack, but I don't have the time right now. But Loomis also asks, will you shoot Loz at it?
I would totally shoot Loz at it if you'd fucking get in the damn tube.
Sorry, Loomis, it's very sadly broken.
Give me intrinsics, tactical, and gunnery 15 or 20. I don't give a flying rat's butt. I will bloody well get his ass shot out of that torpedo tube.
So we actually came up. I think it was during the Framecast. It was during like the Warframe stream we did. With a really cool new idea for like an intrinsics, like perk. So you know how if you get behind enemies, you have that prompt to like stealth attack them and do the melee finisher. If you could have a prompt that you can just pick up your teammate and then just shove them out of the torpedo tube and just fire them off, that would just be so much fun. Like, please add that in and put it at 15. Like, I don't care. I don't care about anything else about intrinsics. I'll just throw everything at it.
Command 30. Don't care. Like, just shove in the whole new command intrinsics. Like, I would bloody well. What, Loz? You seem so confused.
Yes.
Okay. Are we done?
Yes.
Okay.
I know my point I was going to be about the whaling was that I don't think we're going to get that anytime, Loomis, and I would love to see that, but I was just talking to Michel before the stream, and I realised that what we've got, if you swap the core Grenier for core burst, we're currently on the 2018 version of Railjack, what they showed.
Except for stepping in from Fortuna.
From Fortuna up into space. Apart from that, which was really cool, and to be honest, I don't think that would take that hard for them to add in. So just give us that. Then they finally delivered on 2018's Railjack, and it's just 2 missions in space. So by the time we're going to get to the 2019 version of Railjack, and then the 2019 version of Flying Worms from DYWDYT Paradox / end of 2019's TennoCon, I think we'll be waiting till 2021 at this rate.
Like, not to open a can of worms, they should not have revealed DYWDYT Paradox at
I think
we shouldn't have. It's 2021 at the earliest.
It's reveal creep, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they're forever revealing bigger and spicier things for us to sink our teeth into and hope for, and they take longer and longer to release them.
I think they had very little choice, because otherwise the only thing they would have shown off was Railjack, which was already shown off like the year before. So they needed to show off something new, because New War was also shown off the year before. And then now you're actually perpetuating the problem, because you showed off something new, but you're going to show it off next year. Yeah, I don't know.
Not to get into full blown discussion about this, like the last thing. The problem of this is scale creep. Like, if you do not... Sorry, scope creep. Like, if you rein in your design so that you don't incorporate Railjack into New War, and you bloody release New War, you've got no issue. Because they had a thought of, we're going to get New War out by Christmas. How has that suddenly changed?
Isn't the biggest problem just Railjack being incorporated into everything? Because Railjack was announced because it was incorporated into Fortuna, which didn't end up happening, and now New War is delayed because they're trying to incorporate Railjack with it.
Yeah.
It's just the incorporation, man.
I think Squad Link would have been enough of a reveal and the improvements they've made to Railjack. And the thing is, the sacrifice they just managed to deliver before the
18.
2018's thing, TennoCon. They didn't make all of, so they've now pretty much, I would give them that they've delivered on everything of the 2018's TennoCon's reveal. Yeah. But I'm really giving that, even though really technically I could be nitpicking.
No, because there wasn't New War also teased. No, New War was teased in...
New War was teased in 2018.
Oh, that wasn't it? In the 20... Yeah. And they did actually manage to sacrifice. Oh, then they haven't even finished the 2018 reveals. Yeah. And it's just like, I just feel that they're promising too much. And I really think they need to tone back this one. I really do. They don't need to announce anything big. Just give us... Just come up. Just
make it the 2016 one where they don't actually reveal anything. It's just a dev stream. 2016 they had no reveals. It was just like, if anything, they revealed primes and that was it, and deluxes. Because the big one, which was Planes of Eidolon, was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
What did they show on the 2016
one? It was like Necros Prime, his weapons and things. I think it was the deluxe skin for Nova, just bits and bobs like that. It wasn't the announcement platform that it is now.
No.
Maybe. Let me just have a quick... No, they did the War Within.
They announced the War Within?
They announced the War Within at the end of 2016.
But didn't they announce that before already?
Yeah, no, they had, because they had been announcing it all bloody year.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was announced like from December onwards, and they were just
January,
continuing it.
But it was
supposed to be out before TennoCon.
Yes, that was the thing.
And then they released Spectres of the Rail at TennoCon. Yeah, that was it.
Look,
that was a mess.
If we don't count War Within as the reveal of 2016, then basically we're saying that TennoCon, before it was even started, had reveal creep that it couldn't even live up to before they even started TennoCon.
Well, what I think with TennoCon is that they never really intended it to be like this massive reveal thing. But then, like 2017, at this really spectacular reveal of Planes of Eidolon, which was really, really successful.
No, I want to say no, because in 2015, before they had TennoCon, they did it at Gamescom, and they did Arcwing.
They did Arcwing, but it wasn't as big as Planes of Eidolon.
No, that was 2014. It wasn't 2015.
Or 2014. But I think
I promise you, I've had the same conversation with Michel. It's 2014.
Right, but still, they've always done big reveals at things. I will accept the War Within or the expansion of the War Within, that it was... Think of it that they pushed beyond the concept because it was going to be something small, and this was a reveal of it being bigger. There we go. Yeah, but yeah, they big reveal. Yeah, and creep, whatever. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Let's get to the topics.
Right. Before we move on to the community responses, if you decide that you would like to donate money for $1 a month, you could actually support the Patreon, allowing me to create videos via framecast highlights or even Arbiter's assessments. And you could be one of those lucky individuals that cause us to derail the show for a further 50 minutes. Congratulations. Go to patreon.com/Xeno. What?
Have you gone to 5 yet?
No! Moving on.
I'm gonna now interrupt every time you try and plug your Patreon if you don't get on that next time. And I'll sit there whinging at you if you don't become... And I'll explain why to all the people on the Patreon, why I'm doing it, if you don't do it. So you better, because I'm promising that. Right,
I'll do it in January and I'll see how it goes.
Yep, just try one. Just ask one. It's just a test, man. Just a test. Right, anyway, moving on. Comments. Yeah. So, Redbeard Reynolds says, Titanium and Astrolite are far easier to farm on Earth than in the Veil. Vidar 3 Mark 3 parts are insanely good if you get good rolls, but the ranges on possible rolls are huge, and then you have a 2% drop rate in Veil missions. Yeah, so that does seem a bit bad to me. Anarchy Gaming
So
says...
what was the context? They're throwing...
It was something we were talking about last episode.
Yeah. Drop chances.
And resources.
Because I was saying, like, you could get resources. I think I said that you can get Mark 3s on Earth.
Yes,
that rings a bell. And what were they saying?
No, they were talking about the resources that titanium and astrolite are far easier to farm on Earth than in Vale. So some of the resources that you might require.
Yeah. I think I was saying, like, titanium is easier to get on Earth.
Okay, well, Anarchy Gaming wants to ask a card.
Oh, are they allowed to ask a card?
Of course they are.
What's the card?
If I can ask a card here, since I'm curious, which intrinsic are you focusing? Tactical, piloting, gunnery, engineering, or a bit of everyone?
No.
Oh, that was a great card.
You can own... Wait, is this 4
you can have 5
or 5?
options.
You can have 5. You can have 5. Sorry, that was...
Yeah, 5, yeah. Tactical, piloting, gunnery, engineering, a bit of everyone.
What...
I
don't like it. I don't like a bit of everything. It should just be which one are you focused? Huh?
No. Which intrinsic are you focusing? And the options are tactical, piloting, gunnery, engineer, and the last option should be balanced.
I was thinking like the last option should be I've maxed everything.
No. Because there are people that just do like everything rank 1, then rank 2, then rank 3. It's not that either. There are people that only focus on 1, and there's people that maxed out everything. There's also people in between.
I bet the majority of people are just going to say balanced. I bet
that still shows me
that's the cards.
However,
if curious to see the data,
I have but
what was the card? What was the question? What was the question? What intrinsic are you focusing on?
Are you focusing? In comparison, the alternative, if we do put, have you maxed all of them? It's like at this point, maybe we can ask that in 6 months' time. At this point, there might be 1 or 2 people who click that, and I'm like, yay! Very few people have maxed everything. What does that tell me? Nothing.
Yeah, there you
go. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Can you also make sure you put the possible answers in the document?
Will do.
So we'll forget.
Put it with the memes now. Yep. Of Avion Iliates. Okay. For the revives and the fixes, they haven't entirely fixed the cruise ships targeting Archwing. Now, I actually was doing some testing beforehand, and I have to agree the cruise ships do just occasionally just go, "You're dead!" and you're dead. So they don't seem to be... It's less, because it used to be every cruise ship, but there's still occasions where you just seem to just die in Archwing for no real reason.
Out of interest, were you hosting?
I don't know. I don't think, because I was joining other people's missions.
Okay. Yes, I've not experienced this, and I've actually done a lot of the new Archwing, but the new lack of targeting. I've never had that. But if more than 2 people are saying it, then it's certainly. Yeah.
There's several things that can insta-kill you, even when you're supposed to be immune to damage and effects, to the point you can burn through 5 to 6 revives without any choice of your own. I would prefer they fix it and balance the mode properly. So yeah, Ovion, I completely agree. They need to balance the mode, and clearly there's just some bugs. But hopefully we shall see patches now that January is around. DE will be back at work soon, and patches will happen. Amazing patches for
when
lovely,
do you think
lovely
the first hotfix will be?
I think hotfix, there'll probably be one next week, I think. As for actual big changes for like balancing and issues, maybe the end of the month, maybe start of February. I think that'd be sensible. Fix some bugs first and get your heads down, plan things. Anyway, moving on to Scribble C. Scooping of the downed allies sounds good compared to the current trick to reviving allies. Currently, while downed, you are able to select your Omni tool on the gear wheel, which will, if unlocked, teleport you back to the Railjack where teammates can run over and revive you.
Only if you have the gear wheel open.
Oh, yeah.
Only if you have the gear wheel open when you go down, right? Because I've tried this. I've tried this.
I tried it.
It does not work, right? It only
works
if you've got it open.
And if you've got it open when you fall over?
Yeah, it works.
Right, okay. Because as Rugal saying that you might have to hotkey it, that might be a way of getting it to work. If it's on a hotkey, you can just push that and it will work. I did try falling over and getting the gear wheel out, and it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
So last point is just JJ24, a bit of a random point here about the best event. Obviously, we keep saying the
Gravidius Dilemma.
Yeah.
Well, here's a counterpoint for that. So they say Operation Eyes of Blight dethroned Gravidius Dilemma purely on the fact that we have an in-game memorial to the relays we lost on the star chart, and the only good Arc Queen experience that has existed in the game ever. Nothing compares to right before the relays were about to be destroyed, and Vayhek broadcasted his smug self onto the many screens inside right before the Fomorian fired. It was as if, for a brief moment, that our actions had lasting consequences in the world around us. Each platform has different scars based on different relays destroyed. Even the Switch has 5 relays to everyone else's 4s. And also they've put, Xeno just sounds like an old veteran spouting off about the war while sipping on his precious root beer.
1, thank you for the root beer. 2, Gravidius Dilemma all the way. I'm sorry.
See, the thing is, I feel Gravidius Dilemma was going for the same thing that Eyes of Light was doing.
They just undid it.
Dilemma, but also it didn't have that level of permanent. It was kind of go for that permanency. Back then it was permanent, but then they kind of undid the permanency of Gravidius Dilemma by releasing the Gravidius Dilemma system as the invasion system and then making it really half-assed, and it just kind of just flew throughout the solar system with no control. If it was maybe kept for
it wasn't just that though. The fact that with Star Chart, I don't know which one. I think we're on 3.0.
Yeah, we're in 3.
It's at least from Star Chart 3.0, maybe in 2.0, they got rid of the fact that nodes could be swapped by factions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's the invasion system is just like a map mission type, and that's it now. So, you know, that has completely lost all form of object permanency.
Yeah.
What I remember about Eyes of Light was that at the start, everyone was like really keen on like taking out the Fomorians and preserving relays. And I remember that as the thing went on, especially people in the forums, I was active on the forums at the time, people were starting to be like, oh, well, let's just let them blow this one up. Because what if they blow up every single relay? What's DE going to do? And I really like that idea. It's like, I really love when there's like an opportunity for that, where it's like, well, what if we just let them all die? Just to see, like, because they probably didn't anticipate that.
But no. They did. They announced it in a dev stream. They said if there were 2 or less relays, Barrow would stop turning up. Right? Which is, we got the relays down to 3, and we're like, nope, we're keeping them now. Right? And what's it called? Yeah, I remember them distinctly saying if there were 2 or less, Sheldon said this, Barrow would stop turning up. And this is when Barrow recently come out.
Knowing that Barrow was new at the time, and it's Sheldon saying it, my bet on that is that it was just the way it was coded. And he's obviously saying that, but they just coded Barrow one way, and they could easily change the way Barrow was coded.
Yeah.
Not have it probably had a rotation of it must have at least 3 relays, and it goes A, B, C, A, B, C. Then it never assumed, the system probably wouldn't assume to have an A and a B only, and it wouldn't understand a C, so it just wouldn't work. And somebody probably said that to Sheldon, and Sheldon was then just stated it as facts, as in, Barrow won't turn up, when really they could change that. I mean, it's in the game.
I mean, even so, like, they wouldn't keep Barrow out forever. Like, they would have to have a way of bringing it back. And I thought it would be so fun if all the relays were destroyed, just to, like, see, like, what the logic would be that they would bring forward to, like, bring one back. Just to be like, oh, I mean, years later, we got, like, a Steel Meridian come around and say, we'll build one for you. But it would be so fun to just see, like, because it was just all destroyed, them to be like, we can rebuild one now.
I don't know, like, I distinctly remember gamers and things, like, they would log in to Warframe for weeks, if not months, because it was on the old login system where you had a better chance of getting stuff if you were logged in for 7 or more consecutive days. Right? And then, but like, you're not playing the game. It's like, but I need to log in. It's like, otherwise, I might miss out on a chance to get the 75% off Plat. And things like, but you're not playing the game. Oh, but I would if I, so you take away opportunities from players, or if you, like, dare threaten to take away opportunities from players, and they'll fucking jump on it. Imagine if you turn around, if you said, if you don't use Excalibur Umbra for a month, you then have to go capture him from the wild again. Players would just play him.
Well, like, I I see it more along the lines with when they nerfed the catch moon recently.
Yeah.
I kind of said on stream, everyone equip the catch moon now. Like, could you imagine, like, if they're trying to nerf it with the intent of like lowering the use and making it more balanced so people can choose a wider selection of weapons? Like, if they nerf it and then the usage goes up, and it goes up to like 90-something%, it's like, what are they going to do? They're going to nerf it again? And if people still hold onto it, and so it's like it does 1 damage, and everyone just still holds onto it, like, what would they do? Would they just make like say, okay, this weapon only does 1 damage, and we'll give you like a separate like equip slot for it, and you can equip it, and it's completely useless if you want it, and you can just have a secondary weapon? Or like, are they going to buff it? It's like you can choose to do it. It makes no sense.
Go with the arc guns.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know about what DE would do, because I'm wondering if they would turn around, because like, in order to actually get something like that to happen, you would have to spread it via word of mouth, and you'd have to get such a high, number of players to actually, troll DE. Whenever you're boycotting something because someone's, like boycott McDonald's because they've given me 3rd-degree burns, right? You have to spread it with word of mouth. So DE would be aware that this thing is happening, and it would not affect. But also, like, if I don't know how on earth you could convince like such a large portion of the player base to do this thing just to
I think you could
numbers.
get through once. Maybe you could get through it once if you got enough people on board to make it the most used weapon. But then if as it gets nerfed lower and lower, the likelihood you can keep that going is just going to reduce every time, and eventually it will just fall off, and then everyone will abandon it, and then it'll actually get balanced properly.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it down to 1 damage. There's no way you could get it down that low.
It depends on like how good the meme is around it, but yeah, it's just like a fun like thing to think about. Like
it is.
It makes sense that people abandon it, but what if like you're completely allowed to like keep on using it? So what if everyone was just doing the scenario which they're completely allowed to do, to just keep it? Like, that would be fun. But yeah, let's move on.
Cool.
Topics.
We're on to topics.
What?
We're on to topics. Okay. Right. So, topic 1. Oops. Here we go. Topic 1. Make Psy a UI element, not a transmission pop-up. Still confused by this one. Topic 2. What happened to the 5 announced proto skins and the event that should reward them? Topic 3. I turned on the thing. Right, topic 3. Scroll down. Telling stories in the star chart. Right, so moving to topic 1. Cephalon Psy a UI. So make Psy a UI element, not a transmission pop-up. I really need to zoom in on this. I've had Psy tell me 3 minutes later that there are hull breaches after I sealed one, leading me to panic and leave my pilot seat. He can't keep up with the pace of the game mode at all. Use a UI element instead, showing things like the number of breaches, fires, etc., instead of constant transmissions that are often outdated when you get them. Could even replace mission objectives, and they could just be integrated into this part of the UI as well. Yeah? So, out of interest, how often do either of you pilot?
Now and then.
Yeah, not often, but
Right. I pilot near exclusively because, friends have asked.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Why? I enjoy it. Friends have.
Yeah, you enjoy it, but yeah.
What?
I mean, yeah. A goat at the wheel.
I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I'm kind of confused as well. Like, yeah. Are you implying something about Xeno's character? You enjoy that? Gonna look down on you now.
Oh, is that what you're implying? I thought you were trying to imply I was a bad pilot.
We all know Sandy is the best pilot. He knows.
He
how
just
to handle
abandons the ship. He parks it in an asteroid and then fucks off.
Yes.
Anyway, like the second he
A
did
sound
that,
strategy.
yeah,
Mhm.
the second he did that, I just nicked the ship. Like, right, I'm on the pilot now, and I'm taking it out of the asteroid and start using the ship. Anyway,
As
regardless,
an experienced pilot, what's your experience, Drew?
I enjoy piloting a lot, but the UI for piloting is awful, right? You don't know if there are any teammates on the ship. You don't know the condition of the ship. Like, the number of times, like, the hull is breached and there are enemies on board. I'm like, okay, but are any of my teammates on the ship? Like, there have been a number of times I've been caught out. I was like, why am I being attacked? What's attacking me? I get off the pilot seat and I find out there's like 20 Grineer behind me attacking me. And then the problem is that my entire crew have all gone out on Arkwing, right? Another point I do agree with is I have had it where the ship has exploded and we have failed the mission, only to have, during the fail screen, Sai turn around and say, there's a breach imminent. And it's just like, I think you're a little late, mate.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I can get behind what this person is saying. The user experience for piloting is lacking far too much. Don't know what's going on with the ship. And if anyone needs to know, it's the bloody pilot.
No, I agree. I was actually talking with Loz before the 10 o'clock, and we talked about Sai a little bit. And one of the things that I find with Sai is that they try to make him so hard into like have a character personality, and because of that, like he goes about saying things in a very like long-winded way to like give him this personality to him. Like he says things and it's supposed to be funny or like mean something, where in reality I'm like, just tell me what's going on. Tell me, get to extraction, enemies on board, breach hull, like fix this, do that. I don't need you to have a personality. I just want you to tell me what's up. I don't care about you. And like that is something which Sai is like, I don't like him for. And I think that this could definitely be an improvement.
I will say that Nora Knight is exceptionally the same. And the number of times you're listening to some dialogue from Nora Knight, and it's just like, just say I've done the thing. Just say I have done the thing, and let's get on with it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's...
That's after the fact, though. It's like you've done it, and like she will talk, but it doesn't matter because you already know you've done it.
Yes.
With
okay,
Sai,
fine.
you're dependent on him telling you what's going on to act upon it, and he's just really late. And even if he is on time, he's really long-winded about it.
Yeah, long-winded. Yeah, and I totally get where you're coming from. I think there needs to be considerable UI changes for the pilot. Maybe you can specify in some special options menu for Railjack, you know, notify me about this, don't notify me about this, right? I don't care if there are fires on the ship. I don't care if there are electrical surges on the ship. I do care if there's a hull breach. I do care if there are people on the ship, right? You know, I don't need to know if there are cruise ships coming into the system. I do need to know if there are ram sleds about to hit me, right? Regardless of their janky, teleporting, rubber banding nature. But, you know, so I do think that as not piloting, how do you guys feel about... You know, you're out in Arkwing, or you're using the side guns, the starboard and port guns. Do you find that there is information you are lacking that Sai is supposed to bring?
On the side guns?
Yeah.
No. The only thing, if we're talking about the guns, could I just point out, I don't get why the heat overheating isn't around the reticule in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
It really annoys me that you have to look away from what you're shooting at to check the heat.
Yeah.
It's down in the bottom left, bottom right. It really should be around the middle. I think that's basic UI design. Think about where you're looking, and instead it's this lovely, oh, look at this over-designed thing in the bottom left, or it's like, oh, look at it, this bar moving, when really it should be around the reticule as it heats. You know, I better shot shooting now. It's just silly, in my opinion.
No,
I
agree.
I can see that Sai has too much bloat. He has too many things to tell you about. That some things could be added onto alert sounds, as in a different alarms on the ship, so you get used to it. That's like versus, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Star Trek Voyager reference with beep 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 beep. Don't remember what that one means. That's a new sound or something.
Which one was that one?
Oh, the one with the two doctors, the two EMHs. And
is that the new ship?
Yes, and it's like beep 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 beep. Don't know what that sound means.
Yeah.
Why can't we have beeping on the ship? In fact, why can't the ship have like alert status? And it's red alert when it's been boarded, and yellow alert when it's in combat, and green alert when there's nothing nearby or something.
Is there actually anything in Warframe outside of Psi within Railjack where you rely solely on what's being told to you? Because I know that the Lotus tells you what happens in the missions, like you need to put this thing in like the mobile defense slot, or you have to wait. But most of the time, that is accompanied by like a marker on the screen, like where you need to go to or where you need to pick up, and then a timer. I can't remember anything where it's just like solely the Lotus tells you something, and if she wouldn't tell you, there would be no other way on the screen to figure out what you need to do. Is there anything like that?
I wouldn't say no other way. I would say you'd have to go to a special thing to find out. I think you're right. There is nothing. There's no other element of Warframe where the core information is not available to you at any one time. So it is just the UI for Railjack. Like, you know, I think we've had this in the last episode as well. The fact that you don't get a leading reticule for ships
Arcwing.
when you're in Arcwing. I'm like, why not? That would be so damn useful now that everything is projectile based.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also sure that the reticule does not take into consideration the speed of the projectile. Ooh. Because I'm sure I have fired slow firing cannons on the Railjack, and it never hits the target, even if I'm lining up the leading reticule and things. Only because...
Right, so you think it's based on an average idea of a weapon and not actually relating to the weapons you're using?
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I just think that the user experience was not properly assessed when it comes to Railjack.
I feel that the idea is that where with what we said with the Lotus telling you what to do in a mobile defense, and then the markers and the timers being like this secondary backup thing of telling you the same thing. I think that the idea with Railjack was that you have Psi, and then the secondary backup thing is you being with your friends on voice chat.
Yeah, potentially. Actually, one thing that comes to mind is, do you remember what engineering was going to be when they showed it off? Is it at the first? Yeah, I think they showed it off at the first one. TennoCon. Sorry, the first time they showed it off, where you could actually alter
power.
Yeah, you could allocate power and things like that. I'm wondering if they turned around. They certainly did not like that system. I'm wondering if that's what made them like redact a lot of the information. You know, we don't need to give them all this information. Do you know what I'm saying? They felt like there was a visual overload with the UI elements of that they turned around and said, "Oh well, no, we're gonna dumb it down." You know, and they've dumbed it down too far.
You think they've swung too far the other way now? They panicked over there was too much information given, and so they've now swung to the point that it's minimal.
Yeah.
Fair. Right, so back to the topic at hand. Shall we look to replies?
I think so.
kind of like each and every one of us already owns a pocket supercomputer with a status update area on top of its screen where symbols pop up to represent events that might require our attention.
Yep.
Good point.
The amount of
Never
times
had one of those before.
Yeah, the amount of times that I've uninstalled apps on my phone because it's just like, oh, I'm going to bombard you with notifications now. Yeah, thanks, Reddit. Don't care.
Next reply is, it seems like his pop-ups... Oh, though saying that, I don't want bloody Psy to replace with that bloody paperclip. Someone needs to make a meme of that.
No, please.
Hey, looks like you're playing a Railjack. Would you like me to give you a formula of how to do this?
If they do that, I want to have animations with Psy that you can like do a little dance.
Oh, God.
Do a trick.
It seems like his pop-ups interrupt you when building stuff in the Forge as well. I've noticed the build process, holding down the button, gets cancelled when he shows up, which is annoying. It seems like there's an expansion on this. Let's make it so the Forge auto-closes when you forge something while we're at it. You can literally only do one single thing in that menu at a time. I think it already does this when you refine. Oh yeah, the whole bottom of that ship stuff, my opinion needs to look in. I don't get it. What it's supposed to be doing? It just seems silly. It was supposed to be like a whole job, but
it's busy work. It is so
just
much
thing, and then it's like not clear.
It's so much busy work. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I in order to build 4 things, I have to run around the bomb. Or could we set up some kind of, what are those machines? I can't remember what they're called. There was a board game, Mousetrap. What are those types of machines called? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you set up like a long line of like various different things to get it to do something. Like, you know, a bowling ball hits a hammer, which flips a switch on a fan to, you know, those weird, incredible machines. Basically, you just set up a series of those to do all the terminals, and then like you hit a switch at the top, and then it just triggers like all 4 of them at the same time. Like, why don't we just have one terminal, right? And you can just queue things, right? Build 4 of these things, right? So all 4 stations are now taken up, right? But I don't think you should have to run around. That was a dumb design.
I find the crafting thing weird during mission anyway. It's like, oh, you know, we have this really cool space battle idea. We want everyone to experience that you're flying as the pilot for space. You're going around in like the 360 gunner position. You're flying with your Railjack, with your Arcwing between all these missiles and ships and guns, and then you can also be in the back of the ship just crafting things.
I've got no issue with crafting stuff because you should be able to, like, you know, craft the foam that is used to seal hull breaches in case you run out. You should be able to craft munitions like, oh, we've run out of torpedoes. Loz, get in the tube. Loz, get in the Loz, get in the tube. Right? You know, you should be able to craft more torpedoes. Likewise, what other things? You know, the energy thing. Okay, you know, that's kind of a weird thing. Surely you should just like get in the hamster wheel and start charging up the generator more rather than just build more energy. But, you know, it's... Some of it I can understand, but you wouldn't have a conveyor belt with 4 terminals and the person has to run between all 4 terminals. You would simplify it to 1 terminal. It's dumb. I think Loz is having internet issues. Loz agrees. So I think
he doesn't object.
Yeah, he doesn't object. So he clearly agrees.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is that there are considerable user experience problems throughout the entirety of the Railjack.
We need to use this opportunity. Loz, do you object to being fired out of the torpedo tube? Speak up if you object.
He does not object. He is agreed that he will go into the torpedo.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's going to do it, guys. I'm so glad you've agreed to do that, Loz. So you're not objecting.
We have video proof of this. Yep. It's on the 10 o'clock podcast.
You've approved.
I think you have nothing, is what you have.
No, We're 1 hour and 23 minutes into the episode. Loz has agreed he's going into the torpedo tube. You didn't hear it here first, folks. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway.
Random crap. But yeah, no, I think there are serious user experience issues throughout the Railjack. And yeah, I'd like... The thing I want to ask a card, where do you think the user experience is the weakest on Railjack? Do you think that's going to get a lot of definitive answers? I mean, one thing that I would love for the side guns is to know which way the ship is bloody pointing. Like, are we heading towards the target? Are we heading away from the target? I might be pointing at something.
Actually, yeah, I agree, because I have no idea. Like once you enter, you have some idea, but then you do one turn, and you have no clue as to where you even are anymore.
What do you think? So WDYT is the weakest UX of Railjack, right? And while Loz is trying to sort out his net, we will come up with some options. So let's ask the card. So options would be piloting, gunner,
yeah, sight gunner,
refinement, or engineering. I want to make sure that it's clear I'm talking about the thing at the back of the ship.
Resource management.
Resource management. Resource management. Arcwing.
Yeah.
Anything else?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. No, I don't. I want to know what's the weakest user experience.
Could you do maybe? I mean, like I was saying, like other, but leaving comments. But I think that they're like, if people have something which they think is weaker, which doesn't really fall under these 4 points, they can just leave it in the comments. And just
okay.
Point
So we just
something
do
out.
the 4.
Yeah.
So cool.
Because what you always have is you say other and leave in comments. People will say other and then don't leave it in comments.
I'm going to say tactical. Right? I hate the fact that the tactical is a whole new menu and you can't do anything else while you got that damn UI up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Right. Okay. Shall we... I think Loz is still desperately trying to sort out his internet. Should we go on to the replies? Or do you have any... Loz, do you have anything you want to add if you are there? He said no. Right, okay.
He said no.
Right, should we go to the replies?
Yeah, let's go to the replies.
Okay, so... right, replies. Kind of like... Each and every one... Wait, hold on. No, that's the one we bloody did. Seems like no. Right, okay. Nah, it's a feature. He's not a viable Cephalon, remember.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I despair whenever anyone turns around and says a bug is a feature. Like... You know, yeah, I get it a lot at work and things. No, that's how it's supposed to work. No, that's stupid.
No.
Right. Let me melee without taking off my Omni tool also. If you quick melee and then aim again, it goes back to your gun. The codec scanner doesn't do that. Yeah. I totally agree with that. So maybe it should be tactical... and MISC.
No, they had that problem with the codec scanner when they introduced like the new melee system idea that you like instantly swap around right now. Like
there was one. It was one of the Gift of the Lotuses, the Winter Solstice stuff, right? Where to get the what's the name of the damn thing? Trying to remember what the item was called. It was the Tatsu, the dual hand in the kind. You could get a skin for it, a Winter Solstice skin for it.
Good. Oh yeah, there was Winter Solstice stuff I completely missed out on this year. Damn it. Oh, well.
The fact that the flame is static, you know, it doesn't move like the default one does. But anyway, in order to do it, you had to equip sword alone, right? It was sword only, melee only. But for me, I couldn't block. I couldn't work out why the hell I couldn't block. Right? It's because the game hadn't triggered my client to say that I was in melee equipped mode, right? I was in quick melee mode, which has no block.
Right.
And there are like a lot of odd user experiences that have been the user hiccups that have been introduced with the whole being able to quick melee or bring it out properly, right? And I kind of wish that they would nail those down.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they had that with the Codex scanner at the start, and it seems like they fixed it. And then the Omnitool right now has the same kind of problems.
Yeah.
So.
Also, when under pressure, use shorter lines. Again, maybe we could just have it so that the frequency of lines just makes him use shorter lines. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think he just soaks way too much for my preference. And I think that could be changed with shorter voice lines, or that could be changed by having visual aids, so that it doesn't even matter what he's talking about. You can just go by the visual aids. You can just ignore them completely.
Right. I think that's it for this topic.
Cool.
Sorry, Loz, you've been having internet issues.
I'm watching the thing on it, and it just goes, no, signal strength's maxed. I'm still connected to them, but to the router or whatever. They're just like, no internet. No.
What is that picture of?
Task manager.
Oh, okay. So it just loses the Wi-Fi.
Doesn't disconnect me. Still says connected to these things. Just the send and receive hit 0. Randomly.
Yay. Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Just find the router and just jam an RJ45 cable into it.
I wish I could. Oh, I wish I could.
Right. Down with Wi-Fi. Right, so topic 2. Moving on. Right. What happened to the 5 announced proto skins and the event that should reward you with them?
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
I don't know what 5 skins they're talking about.
Oh, so what they're talking about is the skins that were from Dark Sector.
Yeah. So Proto Excalibur was the year 1 anniversary skin, or was that just a deluxe skin that you bought?
It was.
No, it was anniversary.
It was anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was year 1 anniversary. Like, do you really want a Beretta or a sawn-off shotgun in Warframe? I just feel like it's just really jarring. I mean, like a bloody fucking candy cane.
I agree. I think it should be just for the period of the event. So if it was up for 2 weeks every anniversary, I'd have no problem with that.
So, like the mustache from Movember.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down for that. So they were heavily discussed a long time ago, but simply have stopped being talked about. I mean, the images we have, I think they'd have to remodel them because they look ugly. They look super damn ugly. I don't know if you've... Oh god, Michel, you've not got the topic, so you don't know what I'm looking at.
So the proto skins, I know that the Excalibur one is in game permanently.
Yeah.
So you can just acquired it everywhere. Are there more? I know Nyx has one.
No,
No.
I'm pretty sure Nyx wasn't announced
Bolt
with...
got a proto skin.
Huh?
Bolt got a proto skin.
Did he?
Nyx has a proto skin that was released for an anniversary.
But it wasn't announced with that supposed event. The only ones I remember was the Proto Excalibur, the Proto Lato skin, and the Proto Bronco skin, which, you know, those are the only... I don't remember there being another two.
I don't know if they announced all of them, but yeah.
But it's like...
Yeah.
You know, we're talking like absolutely... We're talking years and years ago now. Like...
I remember this being like available only temporarily, like on the market for a couple of years, and then they made them permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also had a proto glaive skin, and then the Nyx Nemesis skin.
Maybe Nyx Nemesis skin was announced.
The glaive proto skin, yeah, the glaive proto skin definitely looks like the Dark Sector glaive.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But that works, that fits. But like, I don't know, just like a Beretta style skin or a sawn off shotgun, it just feels just really out of place to me. Really massively out.
It's nice if it fits the theme of Warframe, but it shouldn't break the game too much. I mean, it just doesn't fit, and I think that we must watch out that you don't over popularize, memify the game to like get it past like what it means by itself. Like you can mod something in a sense, or like in this case add random things because they're fun to add in, but at what point do you just like lose the integrity of what the game is, and it just becomes a random collection of all these things, and you're just running around as characters from all different sorts of games because how fun is it? It's like, yeah, no. No, I'm fine with these things not being in there actually. If I look at
it's like, oh god, what was the Ready Player One, right? Like there were so many elements that just didn't feel like it fit the atmosphere of the movie, but some of them were like, yeah, no, I can see like the Gundam stuff and the Mechagodzilla stuff that fit quite well, the Iron Giant as well. But again, then there were so many elements like Tracer from Overwatch that just felt really out of place. Again, Chun-Li as well from Street Fighter just felt out of place. So
yeah,
you know,
it's I've had it before when it came to like Warframe memes where like of course Clem was added in, and then like we had a time when we of course got Octavia, and we got a lot of like attention spent on like, oh, how fun is it that you dance around in the game as like a Warframe, and you can make your own music and you can do this, and it's like, well, the game I signed up for was a Dark Space Ninja game, and now what are we doing now? And I think it's fun that you accept some things of like your previous titles, of seasonal items, or of like memes from within the community. But at the same time, if you push that too far, you get like a scenario which you see with modding communities, especially like, for example, in Left 4 Dead, where you can install so many mods to the game that like the game doesn't even look like the game anymore, and like the entire point of the game is just gone because everything is just makes a meme sound. It's like, okay, yeah, what is this anymore? So like, yeah, I think that the proto skin for Excalibur, and like the Nyx and the Fold skin, they look pretty good because they're adapted. They look forward, and the glaive skin as well. These two guns, yeah, I'm sorry, but like they're not Warframe guns.
I'm fine with what Loz has suggested, where it's a seasonal event that you know, put the guns, you know, in the market for maybe like not a platinum, a credit. But aside from that, I would not want these permanently in the game.
No.
Right. Loz, I'm pretty sure you have said what you feel. Do you want to go to replies?
Yeah, sure. So back to permanently in the game. though, I saw one of the, in fact, yes, I'm doing replies. Yes, I saw. In fact, is it one of the replies that's picked here?
No. Yes. No. Yes.
No, I don't think it is. First reply I saw when I looked up this page was. So it's explained that the devs are going back and forward in it, and it's to do with does it fit with the game. And then somebody replied with, "You're correct. My giant candy cane scythe-wielding, mustache-wearing frog lady in neon yellow and puke green would look ridiculous with a realistic-looking pistol."
Fair enough.
I thought that's a very good reply.
I can see the point they're making, but at the same time, it's like if we use that excuse, then like you must allow everything. Then you can just open the floodgates when it's like, well, because we already have this, we should allow this as well, and then they will add on the next time that someone asks for something. It will be like, well, my candy cane wielding mustache frog lady with the not fitting pistol, can she not have this thing? And then you add that thing, and then like, yeah, the fact that you've done something in the past doesn't mean that you should also do it in the future.
Yeah, no, I concur.
No, it does have a point.
Yeah. Are you good to do? Loz, I don't know if you just want to restart your PC.
I can give that a go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it'll make a difference though, because it's the Wi-Fi, and like I've showing the graphs, it just goes to 0 for no reason.
Windows.
But, you guys can go replies, and I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. See you in a second. Right. So first reply. The most similar we have to the Lato Proto is the regular Lex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I don't think it is.
How often do you put skins on your weapons?
Whenever I like them.
Okay.
So like, I do like my fashion. I mean, yes, my Oberon has not changed its appearance for God knows how long, but I do like to mix it up and things. You know, like I was playing with the new Excalibur skin, and I took off the weird horned thing that was on its left shoulder, and I placed it with the Grenier Pavlok helmet, and like just like, oh yeah, this Excalibur has murdered a lot of Grenier. Yeah,
nice.
You know, so I am all about the fashion. No, I'm not all about the fashion. I do enjoy my fashion frame, but when I am comfortable with fashion, I like to stick to it. So, next one. Oh, what about you, Ashley?
I find that like skins and sign downs on Warframes are really important to fashion. I find that I generally don't really care about the guns, the way that they look. It's like it's fun sometimes to play around with them.
Yeah.
But I swap around with them so much that it's like you don't necessarily see it, especially when you hide them, when you unequip them, then you don't even see them.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, I'm like, what they say with the Lex looking different, it's like that's another weapon, but like I like sort of the fact it's another weapon, because I remember when we got the Harkus skin collection with Frost skin, and then Frost had a weapon like an ice skin for like some sort of weapon, just like a regular. I think it was like a skin for like the Skana weapon, just like the regular melee weapons, and it would turn it into like something that looked like an ice sword, but it was just a skin. And I was like, this is such a missed opportunity, because you had such a cool sword, which is like an ice sword, and it could have been a really cool weapon on its own. But now it's like it's just a skin, and it doesn't do anything. But it looks cool, but it doesn't do anything.
But we also have windscreen wipers as well. So
yeah.
Okay, let's move.
I mean, best weapon in the game ever with a windscreen wiper.
The post pops up like once every 3 months or so, and aside from all the comments about stylistic integrity and the counter argument of holiday/gag skins, they're just ugly. Like, they're bad skins. Even if you're totally fine with the realistic contemporary guns being in Warframe, the skins are awfully low quality, plastic looking guns. I feel the only reason they're brought up is because they're a thing and people like people feel like they promised the thing and they didn't get it. Like, okay, so in part, I get where this person is coming from. Like, yeah, I was promised new war for Christmas. I didn't get my new war for Christmas. I feel the sad. But at the same time, like, you can't use the argument of there'll be low quality plastic looking skins, because that was back in what, 2014? You know, so we're going back like really old. Like, you know, everything was shiny and glossy. Like, nothing had PBR treatment yet. So yeah, no, I don't follow that suit.
I think that this just comes down to the problem of the scope of announcing things.
Yeah.
That even back in the day, they were announcing so many things that this is something which they obviously forgot, or maybe they didn't forget, but
there wasn't enough interest in the community to drive continued development.
However, as we've talked about before, that they will never really use the dev stream to say, hey, these things which we've talked about before, we're going to shelf them now, or there's a really low chance you're going to see them back because it's like negative news. But because they don't do that, the people that were interested in it will always be like, they never said it's not happening, so it's still happening, and they promised it. And it's like, I think that this is just one of those.
And then you wonder, like, years down the line, whatever the hell happened to the Kingpin system? Whatever happened to the system that was like user-generated quests? Anyway, let's move on. The skins are a rough sketch before complaining about quality from your thumbnail is pretty poor. Next one. Or just like the other Dark Sector assets, they need some PBR work that hasn't been done yet. No, there's no interest. There's no interest in these skins. At least I don't think there are. Lore-wise, what's stopping a certain someone tasked with preservation of historical artifacts from discovering rudimentary ballistic weapons in some truly ancient garbage bin cache? And what's stopping some ultra-advanced technology that already allows for a pair of medium-sized Grenier machine guns to look like a pair of small fixed-cylinder revolvers from Note... wait. What? Why does it just stop with from? Note, at this point, I blanked out my mind. So I blanked it out in my somewhat inebriated state and forgot how I should end this sentence. Okay, awesome. That's just, yeah. Like,
you can justify it in many different ways. Like, oh, this is the way that it can be brought back. But at the same time, if you're gonna add lore to a skin, it's like,
I'm sorry.
what?
Just fucking let these skins go. Just
yeah.
You know, do we really fucking care? Like,
vent.
No. I don't mind them being like seasonal skins and shit like that.
No.
You know, maybe we could have a anniversary week or something where, you know, you can do something that's an homage to Dark Sector, and you can also buy these skins for credit each. But like, the amount of like backwards and forwards on this topic is dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're passionate about this, but I'm just like, why are we worried about this?
We can worry about more relevant things. Some topics that can actually be resolved. Nullifiers. It's
moving
probably
on.
Never ending. Let's move on.
Moving on. Topic 3. I was like, I missed the entirety of topic 2.
It's fine. It's about the guns.
Yeah. Right. Out of interest, is it acting any better now?
It will be, but it might just drop out again.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know if it's people abusing the connection on the system or if it's something to the router. I will try and update my drivers as something that's listed here, but I don't really think that being too big of an issue, but who knows?
Right. Telling stories in the star chart. I noticed the Fangul satellites name when I almost clicked on them for Earth and realized they might somehow be related to the Law of Ghouls, who are dropped in pods slash sacks from the sky. After that, I dug through a lot of the other names, things like Lota Temple potentially being the site of an old Orican tower. We could have something discoverable on Saturn where the Zeramen 10-0 had its void accident, possibly having some sort of remnant of a communication station for the Saturn VI prison. Some sort of remnant... Oh, sorry. Veil Proxima has a lot of potential, but a lot of it to be left out, like what happened to the Ryu's Warfield. Ryu's Warfield? Will places like the NSU grid be related to... Oh, that's the Neural Century... What's the U stand for? Oh. Be related to the defense grids they talked about at Tenno Live. Imagine if each one of these nodes, or at least some of them, came with a little story like that. Just a single paragraph, maybe two, telling about this place you're about to enter and wreck everything in. Just hover over the node and press tab like you do with tooltip windows, and it'll open. This could add a lot more depth to the world for lore nerds like myself and many in the community to explore, think, and talk about. And the most important thing, this shouldn't be that hard to do. Right. There's a lot of stuff in that. One thing I want to point out is you can actually see Saturn 6 in orbit in some of the nodes on in Railjack. Like I've seen screenshots of people in Railjack who have found the Saturn 6 station.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I'm unless it was like a really good composite, I'm pretty sure you can actually find it orbiting Saturn, which I think is actually pretty damn cool. Michel looks like he's looking something up.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find screenshots of it, but I can't find it real quickly.
So, have you tried like Saturn 6 in Railjack?
I'm on a topic right now that says I found Saturn 6 in Railjack, so hopefully this person has found it.
And they've taken screenshots.
They have.
Do they look legit? Do they look super damn fake?
Probably legit. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean,
well, that's not the screenshot I've seen. Like, I saw it from a different angle entirely.
Yeah.
So,
it's like it could be real. It could also be fake because, like, you do have to capture a scene. But like, I don't know why someone would go out their way to like fake this.
That lighting looks mega jank.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, you can set your PC to look mega jank.
Mm-hmm.
No, I meant that it's not textured correctly. The lighting is not falling correctly on the object. It's not layered correctly to be used. So that's why it's really black on the right, and then the rocks on the right-hand side of it are really bright.
Mm-hmm.
So the objects aren't set.
But that's because the prefab... I'm pretty sure the shading and stuff is baked into the prefab. It's the weird way that they have lighting and stuff. It's to make it so that lighting is rendered easier, so it's less stress on the PC, is that shadows are baked in. The only things that have shadows are the models, the player models, the enemy models and things. All the environments and stuff, the shadows are baked into the texture.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a clever way of doing it. So I don't know, but what I
But
saw.
they're not. No, they're not compositing correctly.
What do you mean?
Look at the asteroid on the right-hand side of it. It's all in dark, and then there's an
No. So
asteroid
they've
poking out of
taken.
it, but it's
No,
bright.
it's not done in real time. That's the point. It's baked into the texture. So they would have done it for like the screenshots and things and all the dioramas for the Wolf of Saturn 6, and then they just put the element into the map.
I mean, given if you look at this picture, if you look at it up close, if this was something that they put into it, like they photoshopped it into here, they did an awfully good job in cutting it out and pasting it in, and then it would make no sense for them to like leave the shading as it is if you can already do such a good job with like cutting this thing out, pasting it in, and then having the UI markers overlap without having any smudges around it, and then just be like, no, we'll just leave the shading as it is so that people can speculate. So it's like, if you don't know how to shade this, you would also not do this good a job in like pasting it in. And if you were to be able to do this good a job of pasting it in, you would shade it properly.
Who knows?
And I've seen things like this in the game as well. So like I think it's real.
Yeah. I mean, hell, you look at the partially done rework of the lighting in Grenier Galleons, and you're just like, this is good environment lighting and baking into the textures. This is really bad lighting and baked into the textures. But anyway, right. So what's the next? Yeah, so I like the idea of each environment having lore stuff, but I honestly think put it back into Samaris. Like, he has that whole codex entries thing that they abandoned really quickly. I think it was really quickly. Loz, how long did it take them to abandon it? If he's there at all.
I don't know how long it took.
I think the crewman was the last entry that... Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the second to last.
So I think that it could be a fun thing to do, but like there are two thoughts that are playing in my head. The one is that Warframe desperately needs some cohesion. The way that I imagine the way that I imagine the Warframe right now is, I was talking with Loz about this just before 10 o'clock, that it's like, it's a tree, which instead of going up, it goes really wide. And Loz I actually liked his metaphor even better. It's like a root system, which like starts at one point and it just kind of like spreads out all the way. So if you climb in it, you can't go really high, which means that like a lot of veteran players are like, oh, there's no end game, there's nothing tough. Because like it doesn't go really high, that tree or that root system doesn't really go really deep. But if you look from underneath, it's such a wide thing, and it just keep on adding on systems like a codex, Samaris Codex, or like open worlds like Arcwing, which are just like adding onto the width of this thing, but it doesn't really go in depth. It's not required to do the next thing. So like it becomes this really wide thing, and like if you look down from underneath, it's so chaotic. And I think that like having like lore at the same time is really chaotic as well. It's like I think that we tend to like make it more than it is because we really like the lore of Warframe, and we fill in with some gaps. But there are some plot holes in it. There are some really big things which just don't make sense. And I think that it would really help Warframe if they would structure things a little bit better. And I think lore on nodes and like properly explained upon like the planets could really work well into bringing some structure and like actually having people be like, hey, you don't have to, as a new player, complete the entire plains of Eidolon until you've defeated the Tridolon before you can move on to the next planet. No, you actually should do the Star Chart, because that's the story. You can always go back to these things.
Yeah.
Like I think that could really help. But on the other hand, knowing the way that DE does things, this could very well be something which is like they kind of start off doing this partly, and then they just leave it up in the air, and it's like some other weird lore nodes, which in 3 years' time will just be like completely retconned because we kind of forgot that these things existed. Well, screw it, we got a new thing, new ESO. We'll just put things right in there.
Like, so I think we've told this story before. Before Loz and I went to see the early stages of Fortuna, the Orb Valis, we decided to practice what are the sorts of things we can observe and utilize. You know, what kind of narratives can we make up by flying around the plains of Eidolon? And we actually noticed that there was a lot more lore in just looking at the plains of Eidolon than was actually told. Because if you look at it, it looks like it's the remnants of a battle, a huge battle between the Orokin and the Sentients, because you have that huge sentient in the horizon. Yeah? But they obviously set up the pen, but on the northwest side of the plains, there are these huge cannons, right? Along with the odd tower. So it looks like these cannons were used to fight off the sentients, right? Likewise, the Grineer, they've set up archaeological dig sites everywhere. They are digging up not only Orokin technology, they're digging up these cannons, but they're also digging up parts of a sentient, not an Eidolon, a sentient. Because you actually see like a hologram of the various different parts that they've dug up put together. Right? I think it's in the top. So it's in the northeast corner. There's like this one building that has a hologram where like 2, maybe 3 pieces are like slotted together. So there's a lot of elements that are in and around the environment that they could write up as a narrative, like a small thing, like they used to do with the Sanctuary stuff from Samaris, that, you know, they just need to start applying it, right? Likewise, what is to stop them from turning around and holding like a competition to find people that are enthusiastic about this stuff and then get them on board to start writing some of it? Because, okay, yes, DE want to hold like super control over the lore and stuff, but they're not doing anything with it. And that's one of the biggest things that pisses me off, right? This guy says he's noticed the Fangul satellites, which, you know, yeah, that makes sense to me. These satellites are dropping the spore sacs or whatever for the ghouls, right? So why is there nothing written up about it?
One would
like
hope DE actually put in that the moon was back and things before we had Second Dream. So maybe one would hope that they're foreshadowing.
Maybe. But, you know, we've seen time and time again where stuff is partially implemented and then doesn't get fully realized. I mean,
I feel that's the saga of this game.
It is the saga. It is the sequel saga of Star Wars, where stuff don't make shit all sense. But if honestly, I think if DE were to turn to some of the content creators, like, you know, Zale, well, okay, he's not an official Warframe partner, but I think they could get a lot of drive for this from the community. Hell, they do channel gen. Why can't they outsource the
lore creation?
Well, because the thing with Telegen is that it's basically people are creating a product that's sold through Tenogen and then also for like the Warframe market, and it's something which is very easily like you create something, and if it's good enough, we'll put it in the game, and everything that's sold you get a return on, or we'll have a contract if it's on consoles.
Yeah.
It's something that's very easily paid for. I think that as much as I like the idea of Warframe, like using the talent that's within the community of people that are willing to do it, I think that there needs to come a time in which Warframe needs to make up its mind as to like where it stands towards its community and like volunteered or paid work from out of the community, because Warframe has grown from a really small game. So what we've seen is that a lot of tasks when it came to things like helping new players, moderating chats, helping out in various different forms around the game wherever necessary, there were a lot of people that were willing to step in and help the out. And because they weren't a large company, they were happy to accept it. And people were happy to do that voluntarily. And sometimes they got a little benefit out of it at TennoCon or something, or a little emblem or something in game. However, I feel that over the last 2 years, we've kind of seen that D has grown, Warframe has grown. We're over 50 million players now, so it's no small game anymore. And because a lot of these systems were built with volunteers and like volunteer community people within them, these systems kind of need to change, because you can't have a big company or a big game be run by people that aren't paid or that aren't part of the company and that just run it on a volunteer basis, which makes perfect sense. However, it seems that like a lot of these tasks that were done by volunteer groups either just were scrapped away because it got to be a problem that it was done not by a professional paid team, or it was just like, oh yeah, let's move it away because no, thank you very much, because we really appreciate what you've done, but no, we don't need it anymore, because now it's weird. And like, I think that if we're going to rely again on like community volunteers or community input to do these lore things, it's like, well, make up your mind. Are you a small company? Are you a small game in which a lot of your parts of your game are being run by a volunteer community? Then that's fine, but then be proud of that and put that out there. Or are you a bigger game company because you have over 50 million players in your user base? And at that point, it makes perfect sense. You want everything, or as much as you can, to be professionalized. Then make sure that you hire people, that you actually, like, you can source them out of the community, but you have to make sure that you actually hire them, maybe part-time, or maybe just like for like this one thing, but properly hire them and make this a professional thing instead of like this volunteer thing which works as long as it's useful until it like becomes like questionable in like the PR, and then it's like, oh.
I think what you're saying, like, so it is certainly a double-edged sword, right? There are certain people that you can and cannot hire. That's like your everyday standard job, right? I remember talking to, in past jobs, like interviewing people, and one guy, like he applied for a position, and he turned around and said, so tell us about your role at the other company, the company you're currently with. They turned around and they said, like, oh, I'm the best that it is. The company would be nothing without me, so on and so forth. And there was a lot of toxic behavior behind it. And that's something you've got to be careful about when it comes to something as public as Warframe, right? Because we've seen it already where a artist was the concept artist for some of the skins. DE changed some of the concept art, and the artist, maybe too rightly so, lashed out, right? They didn't like the fact that their concepts were being changed, right? But in some capacity, you've got to accept that, this stuff happens, right? When...
Well, so it depends on the situation. It's like if you hire me to do a job, and that's to create a skin, and you pay me to create a skin, and I create something and I give it to you, and you make adjustments because you are the one that hired me, then it makes perfect sense that you were to adjust the thing that you pay me for, because it's the thing that you pay for. However, when it comes around to having people volunteer for things because you don't have the capacity to begin with to do that task, and people come around and say, hey, I would love to do this because I have some time on my hands, or I know how to do this, or I know how to fix this up and like help you out here, and you know, and then you're like, yeah, well, thank you, like I would appreciate that. And then whenever there's a bit of trouble, or whenever like it's a bit of like, oh yeah, we don't need this, like let's move you aside. It's a bit weird because like someone just volunteered. Like a volunteer scenario is different than a hire scenario. And I think a volunteer scenario for like a starting out game for like a company that just starts out, or like a small game, makes perfect sense because you can't hire people for everything. However, if you want to put on the big game shoes, then you also have to put on the big game shoes of hiring people properly. And then like it makes sense that you can like reject ideas from the people that you hire yourself. But I would not recommend going down the volunteer route of let's see what the content creators or what the community has to say, even though there could be really good response in there. Like please have them submit, but then also like hire them to do their job.
I think at that point in time, you've also got to appreciate that there are other ways to protect the individual. I totally agree with you. Hiring the person to do the job is a great thing. They might have to be hired as a freelancer.
Yeah, perfect.
Right?
Like that's,
so it's like
that's
you know, when the work comes in, you're paid to do that, right? But likewise, I think NDAs are important as well, non-disclosure agreements, where like you can't talk about the shit that you've seen, you can't talk about the shit that you have, you know, agreed that you know of, right? I mean, what's it called? I think Loz has one NDA up on me. Went to the
Probably
VIP.
No, I didn't have to sign one.
Aha! We are an equal NDA. Equal. No, sorry. So there are certainly ways to do this. I think yes. Okay, then maybe again hold a competition to see whose writings you like, styles, creativity, so on and so forth. And then from there, maybe look at doing the freelance stuff. But again, you have to be careful because if a creative individual writes up, oh, this is the lore entry, and DE change it, you have to be careful that that individual that wrote it, who may or may not be, well, probably is, under NDA, doesn't decide to flip a table.
Yeah, and like this is the difference where it comes to like if that person just wrote it as like a volunteer like position where they were like, hey, I see that you're missing this, I would love to do this, and then they're writing up and then DE decides to change it. Like, what did they get in return? Like if it's actually your employer, like it's more like, yeah, it's your employer. It's like, I'm sorry, but like that really changes the case. In my opinion, when it's like your employer that's paying you to do your job changes something about the final outcome, that's what they pay you for. But if it's someone that does it on a volunteer basis, and like, yeah, it's like, I just feel like if DE really wants to do these lore entries, they should do them properly, and they should have someone at it. And if that someone comes from the community, or if they hire that person through other lanes, I don't care, but do it properly.
I also think that this is down to the community to drive whether or not they want to see this shit, right? You know, like, let's ask the card. Do you care about? I don't want to say do you care about lore entries. I want to say, do you want to see DE prioritize lore entries? Yeah. Do you want to see Samaris with his lore entries return? I don't know if Loz is frozen again.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Samaris.
Do you want to see Samaris return with his lore entry? Yeah, because I think, you know, they dropped it real bloody quick. Do you remember how long it was, Loz?
What?
The lore entries were like, you know, the crewman.
Sanctuary?
Yeah.
Oh, it was after about 2 or 3 months. We only got about 8 of them.
Yeah, it was really quick.
I remember there was some comment somewhere, I'm not sure, I can't remember, I have a reference, a source for it. But I think it was like Steve just couldn't keep up with doing them. And it's like, why was Steve the one doing these? It just seemed ridiculous to me. It really seemed like something that what you should do is you should sit down with the writer if he's that obsessed with it, and they should hire a writer, and that person should come up with loads of lore entries. Steve outlines it, they go away, come up with loads of entries or loads of additional lore, and then comes back, runs it by Steve in one day, job done. It can then be put in the game. Instead, I think it was just been done ad hoc, like they would do the next one, then wait for it to be done, and then do the next one. It's just like, no, this is stupid.
Was it the whole thing that's holding up the Hydroid Prime trailer? Steve didn't write the lines for Ballas to say.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Maybe that's next TennoCon, upcoming one. It will just, the entire reveal will just be the entirety of the Hydroid Prime trailer. It will be an hour-long trailer. But I'm already stoked for it. I'm hyped.
Yesterday when we did the Framecast, we were talking about games that could be adapted into movies or even TV shows and things like that. And we said Warframe couldn't be touched because there is nowhere near enough content that is actually in written form. They should hire a writer to come in, get everything out of Steve and Jeff's head, and then go away and write a goddamn book or two.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Definitely.
Do we go into the replies, or does anyone have anything they want to follow up
with?
with?
No, go through the replies, I feel.
Loz, you've been fortunately disconnected a lot.
What can I say? I don't know.
You want to do the replies then, Loz?
I could try, but it's going to cut out, I imagine, randomly.
Go try.
I need to get back again, don't I?
Do. We're gonna try.
Oh, wow, this looks like a really good topic, and I've missed all chunks of it. Right, reply 1. Making something like Mass Effect, where you zoom in and out on a node and artwork is displayed representing it, plus a paragraph explaining on the side, with a launch button underneath that. To make the system as snappy as the current one is, add 2 arrows that you switch between all of the tiles on that plan.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to this. I think this is a good idea. Give, history behind things that have happened on these nodes.
Oh. Yeah. Thought you weren't replying, but it was because it hit 0. Dude, yes, this is absolutely something they should implement that would take away very little. A small paragraph description of each node. Why the fuck not? Because DE doesn't give a poop about lore, that's why.
I honestly think that they do care, but the problem is that the community doesn't care enough. I really don't think the community cares enough about lore. They just want the gameplay experience. We've said it time and time again, where friends of ours would skip through quest dialogue after quest dialogue or cutscene after cutscene. They just want to play the damn game. And then, when they come to the lore point, it's like, what's happening? I don't understand. This game's confusing and stupid. And well, don't skip all the plot.
I mean, it's probably a bit of both, because, yes, it might not be popular with too many people, but at the same time, I don't think Arcwing was the most popular thing in the game, and still Arcwing was always pushed within the open worlds as a transportation thing. Now with Railjack again, which I understand, because it would be great if Arcwing can find its place where it really functions well and everyone likes it. But if they really want to do the lore, there will be ways in which they can do it, even if it's not the most popular thing. But then again, it's also, if people don't like it, how Warf is investing into it. So it's a bit of both, I think.
Loz? Any words?
I missed all that. Just keep going.
Okay. Shall I read out the rest of them, or do you want
to... The Laverian is a good example of DE understanding that the community wants more lore in the game. With this, they're accepting the fact that making unique quests for all frames is unreasonable if they want to keep other content coming out in a timely manner. It may be a compromise, but it's better than having frames delayed due to their quests not being finished.
I agree with this, but they kind of need to go back and do other bloody frames. 42 frames. We've had 2 lore entries like this. Go back and do the others.
Yeah, that would be a project for this year then. I think Railjack took a lot at the end of last year, and I think it was supposed to come out mid last year and has clearly eaten it. What I would like to see them do is just have one bloody thing on the horizon, and it doesn't matter if it's not coming out. No more dates until it's ready, and don't put everything working on one thing, because that's what they seem to do, even though they used to promise they had multiple teams. I'm sorry, but it clearly is quite apparent
No.
that they don't. It seems to be that whatever organization they have, they need everyone to work on one thing at once, or one big.
We lost him.
Yeah, but I agree with what he's saying. It's like it's often been offered that DE is like expanding their office and they have multiple teams working on things. But as far as we can see from what comes out, it seems as though everyone is working on like one thing, or the majority of everyone is working on one thing. So it would be great if
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm going to ask you guys right now. With 2020, how many Laverian lore entries do you think we will get for Warframes that do not come out this year? So I'm talking like Oberon, Nyx, Excalibur. How many Warframes do you think we'll get for the Laverian that have already been released?
I think all of them eventually in this next year.
No.
I think they'll get them all done.
You think they'll get all of the... Right. They'd call me a fucking pessimist. I don't think they're going to do any of them.
Oh.
I think that they're just going to focus on the new Warframes, and they're not going to do any of the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Loz turns around and says,
Yeah.
Drew, you're a fucking pessimist.
No, I think that'll be quite apparent. Yeah, it could happen. Who
Michel?
knows?
No, it's like it's again one of those systems. It's the saga of Warframe. It's one of the things that's like it would be great if they fixed it. It would be great if they fixed it. And I can name many things that would be equally deserving, like Perfume, like Conclave, like
Yeah.
Lenaro, like yeah, there's so many things. There's so many things. Like, yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised if there's nothing. Because yeah. The saga of Warframe.
What was that, the last one, Loz, or is there still one more? No, there's one more.
I feel like there's a group of people inside DE that really care about lore, but they just don't get that many opportunities to shine because there's a lot more demand for gameplay-related additions and/or fixes than on lore expansions. Since that's what's keeping people playing the game. That's why I think they don't have a dedicated writing team like many other developers do, unless they do have one and I've never heard of it.
I completely agree. But at the same time, I'd like to know like what companies have a dedicated writing team.
No.
Like I think Blizzard might with World of Warcraft, but I can't think of any other. Maybe CD Projekt Red. I don't know.
Yeah.
RPGs would be a good indicator for writing teams, but you know, I can't imagine Treyarch, who do the Call of Duty games. Like, I can't imagine them having a dedicated writing team. I can't imagine. Well, what's the name of the team that did The Division? Or was it just part of? No, I'm pretty sure they were a developer that did The Division.
Part of Ubisoft.
Was it part of Ubisoft? I thought they were like one of the developer teams that were like owned by Ubisoft.
Yeah, they all are. Massive Entertainment.
Right. I'm pretty sure they won't have a dedicated writing team. They'll just get like their developers or their creative people come up with the plot and stuff. But I don't.
So I just checked with Obsidian Entertainment, which is like the creators of like the Outer Worlds and Knights of the Old Republic and Fallout New Vegas. They do have a job position up for like a narrative designer who works under a narrative lead. Like they do have teams that are focused on like the consistency and integrity of the intellectual property in the game's writing.
Yeah.
Like they do have people hired specifically focused on the narrative structure, but that's also what their games are about.
Yeah,
in large part.
Those
so
are
it does
RPGs,
exist,
so it makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't like no. I mean, Call of Duty like scrapped their entire campaign for like an entry or two. So no, they won't, and I don't think he necessarily has.
Right, so that's it. The last of the comments. Asked 4 cards. Yep, healthy number. Cool. Right, and I think we're done for the topics. Really sorry that Loz has missed out so much of this. Sucks. Stupid Wi-Fi. Loz, just grab the cable and just jam it in. And let's move on to the memes. We're on the memes now.
What is the point?
What?
Well, I was thinking I'll use an app to scan, see how's on the network, but Apple have decided that the iOS apps aren't allowed to look at MAC addresses anymore. So it just gives me a list of all the IPs on the system, and then won't let me know any of the customer information about them because they said they're not allowing the app to do that.
That's weird.
Well done, Apple.
I think Android devices can.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Android can. All right. Anyway, what are we on to?
Memes.
See, look, now it's being consistent. I assume that's basically what it is.
Frame review.
Yep, thank you. I think what it is there's somebody who's there here at the moment.
Oh, lost him again.
There's somebody on this network that's eating all the network.
Yeah, they're probably downloading like way.
It just goes to zero. It just goes to zero for no reason, and now it's up to 2 Mbps, which is a brilliant connection break.
See, this screams to me that there is a fault with the router. The router's not able to cope, and it's just like it's just dropping everyone.
I'll have to ask for to be looked at. Anyway, right.
Maybe you should subscribe to someone that will install one for you and then kick you out.
Maybe I should move to a place with proper internet, which is what I plan to do.
Or you got that really long cable. Get a longer cable and put it up to one of the other floors.
Well, what I was tempted to do is go be like, "Can I have a look at the routers, please? Oh, look, it's got a spare plug, and I'm just going to plug this in next to it. Plug this right back into the router." And just power line in my bloody room. Thank you very much. Right. Anyway, I'm tempted to do that because I'm going to complain otherwise it's not good enough. Right. Anyway, where are my memes? There are my memes.
Memes.
That's 4. See, now it's fine. Like, how can it be fine now unless something's going on? It could be the router, it could be. I'm finding them. There you go. There's some memes. Do I have my memes up? I do I? 3. 11 tabs. Right. They're loading. Right. Okay. Yes. So first meme. Now, I've limited myself to 2 of these. However, and I'm not going to go through all of them because in theory it's like 1 meme, but it's just done for every Warframe. If you want to go see the rest of these, and there is one pretty much for every Warframe, I think, at the moment, if not something coming out with it shortly. I think these are brilliant. This is the meme. I don't know if this is a meme that's just started on the meme frame Reddit or it's come from another meme from somewhere else and they're doing it instead for the meme frame Reddit, but this is brilliant. So it's the 4 abilities for the frame and then an image representing them. I think this is amazing. And literally there is for every single Warframe. So good, my connection's holding. So please, if you want to see the rest of them, and some of them are brilliant, go to r/meme frame and you can see all of them and they're really good. So I've picked 2, which are Vara and Loki for my first 2 memes. I could do the rest, but we'd be here all day. We could do a whole episode on these. So anyway, so the Vara one, Quiver, we've got Hawkeye, Navigator, so that's Yondu's arrow from Thingy. Then we've got Prowl, we've got Metal Gear Solid in a Box, and then Artemis Bow, we've got Men in Tights, I think that is. Is it Men in Tights?
I don't know which Robin Hood it is, but yeah.
It's the jokey comedic one, but it is so true. Yep, so that's the first one. And then we'll go for the second one, which is Loki. This is why I love these. Seriously, go to the meme for a minute. Whoever started this meme, it is a brilliant meme. They were all massively upvoted, but I'm just stuck for these 2.
Oh my god. The invisibility one is just absolutely...
The John Cena.
Yeah.
We've got Switch Teleport, we've got an Uno card, and I love that Radio Disarm is just an easy button.
Oh god, that is just... I think the only thing I would have swapped out is probably had a Naruto log instead of the decoy. That's the only thing I would have gone with. Yeah. But anyway, should we
Yep, but that's if those.
That's
But please, if you find that those two memes hilarious, go to the meme frame Reddit and upvote these ones because I think they're brilliant. And if it's a meme that's created, I don't know if they took inspiration for some other thing and they've copied it. But if this is an original meme for here, it's brilliant, and you can find such great stuff on the meme frame Reddit. So anyway, next meme number 3.
Oh, whoops.
There's a few of these as well.
Yeah.
But I went for this one, for the SpongeBob of Railjack roles described by SpongeBob. So we have the tactical, the pilot, the gunner, and then finally the engineer.
What's tactical?
Organizing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because it's like zoomed out and everything. Hard for me.
Oh, there's a horde of patrons in the Krusty Krab.
Yeah, Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
He's organizing them. Yep. Right. Meme number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
What?
He wanted to know how Limbo worked. We all knew how this was going to end. Me inviting a Massey Rank 3 I found in Region Chat to my orbiter. Behold! My stuff. This is the pile of rubbish, and it's like, oh, yes, I know what all that is. Yes, of course, amazing. We got Sargus Rock. Right, moving on to number 5.
What was Sargus Rock?
There's a Sargus Rock Noggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like the kind of stuff. It's like, my stuff. Look at this amazing stuff, and it's like, okay, a Master Rank 3 is going to be like, oh right, yeah. Anyway, so moving on to meme number 5. Don't do drugs. That's a good point, kids. Me. Why would you eat the goo of a cursed blood-red snow globe that's been sitting on some maggot's rod for 1,000 years, like it's a damn fruit gusher? Registered loser. Gotta be vitamins in there somewhere. This is a John Tom meme. If you haven't seen this, I think it's his. Oh God, who is it? It's that actress, I think.
Yeah, it's Gwyneth Paltrow, isn't it?
Yeah. Selling snake oil, basically, and it's like there's got to be some vitamins in there somewhere. He stood outside the store.
Is it Goop?
Yeah, Goop. Yeah.
God.
Yep. Great episode.
I was telling my parents about that, and they were like, "No, you're making this up." I was like, "No, I'm really not."
It's a miracle elixir. There's got to be some vitamins in there somewhere.
Yeah. And then the last one.
Oh my God.
The number 6, Loz.
Number 6. Yay, only few more months to wait. The new war? The new wait. We all know it's true.
Oh my God. Yep. Right.
Yeah, so that's it for the memes. Can we have the community shout-outs?
Yes, we can. Do you need me to link? Loz is already on it. Cool. Right. So the first community shout-out is the antonym Equinox by Osen. No, Osen? Onsen? Oh, no, Osen.
Osen, I think, yeah.
So, mission piece, and looks pretty damn dope.
Mm-hmm.
The deluxe skin for Equinox. I was just like, yes. I have now opened this. Yes. Thumbs up.
You were just going to go for that in case I cut out, so just going to get thumb up, kid.
Thumbs
what
up.
What are you going to get for all these? Okay.
Right. Second community shout out. Now, this one I highly recommend for people to click on because there are 4 images. The 4th one is genius. They will see it. You guys won't. So, looks like they're having fun by We're Electro.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for the last thumbs up.
I don't understand.
New Year's.
But they sort of they're waiting for the firework to go off, and they're eyeing it up, I think, or each other. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then it just falls off sideways.
Look at the last one.
Yeah.
The 4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fireworks just fallen over.
Yeah, but then they make the fireworks.
Moving on. Lars has ruined it. Lars has ruined it. Right, so the 3rd one is Jelly Prime by Foof. So, lovely Avara Prime. Still need to buy that. Probably wait till next week. Lars is confused. Organic. Thumbs up. Cool. Not eating a sandwich. Right. Then...
Thumbs up, boy, isn't eating a sandwich.
No, but there's the Chinese guy who leans out a window who's eating, and he does the thumbs
Oh, he's
up.
eating. Yeah.
Right. So then there's the fourth community shout out, which I actually quite like. Journey to the Void by Pascal. Get it? Get it? Journey to the West. You've got the monk, Wukong. Which I don't know what the water spirit was called, and then the yoga. Yeah. So,
And the windscreen wiper is represented as well.
Yeah, I just noticed the windscreen wiper. So, but yeah, Loz is getting the angers now. I can appreciate Loz getting the angers. I would be getting the angers right now. At least we're not playing what's called Deathwing right now. Right, the fifth community shout out. This I stumbled upon and thought, damn, this is awesome. So this is a concept of a Grineer sector lord named Thrathtura, and this is done by Sprinka. I recommend people, again, go check this out, because the idea is that this is like someone that controls a sector as a Grineer lord and so forth. But like the design, I just thought was awesome.
Oh, that is outstanding.
It is utterly amazing. They got alternative heads, and you get that vibe of like Tilragor meets Bayhek meets a Worm Queen. I thought this was just absolutely incredible.
It's brilliant because it's sort of like it's going for a whole lot, almost like a portable throne. It shows the decadence of this character, and their behavior. It's really overbearing and just, it's so good. But at the same time, it's really interesting that it plays off of the Grineer's replacement of their bodies with cybernetics aspect, which is technically in every single, like even Grineer Lancers don't have their legs, they've got robotic ones, but this takes it to another level of what does it look like when it's not mass produced, but somebody who is very opulent and has unlimited resources and wants to show it off. That it's so many things from this design. This is amazing. This really is. That is beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I want that in the game so badly. Yeah. You can just tell, just looking at this, what this character is going to say, how he's going to speak, what attitude he's going to have to you, and it's just, oh god.
I think this is the most you have ever said about a community fan art.
It is, because it is.
This has just blown your mind.
Well, it has, and because okay, I think I'm missing a few bits earlier where Michel was saying something about like the game we had and how it's changing things. Yeah. This in these images shows pure what Warframe is to me.
Yeah.
And what it should be. Yeah. You can see the harshness of it, the little details of that is Grineer. That is pure Grineer there. The vision realized of what what they're aiming for on this, and I could totally see this in game, and that's what I wanted in game from the very start. This kind of feel, and we don't get it these days. It's just no.
So I know who I'm contacting for a guest, right? And so that's the fifth community shout out: the Grineer Sector Lord Thrathtura by Sprinka. So go check it out. And now we'll move on to the last community shout out, which is this Lotus Natar, the Mother by Jean. Very nice, sort of like tarot card. Thumbs up. I wish I saved the other one for last. I really did.
My internet's cutting out again. I don't want to risk it, and it just goes no internet now, and it's like, oh god.
Right. So that's it for the community shout-outs. And I might have to paste the quote for Loz. But are you guys ready for the quote?
Yeah.
Loz, if you need me to, tell me to paste it into the text. So, right, okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to read it out first. The void is the great prophet. It is the cleansing veil in which true believers are forged. The one place where all men truly share the same wealth. So that should be the same. All colonists truly share the same wealth, regardless of what infested scum they were going in. Run it again?
Yeah, can you paste it into chat for me?
Did I break up?
A little bit, but not massively. But
Let me just retype. Right. Let's read it out again. The void is the great prophet. It is the cleansing veil in which true believers are forged. The one place where all colonists truly shared the same wealth, regardless of what kind of infested scum they were going in. Dan! Entertaining.
Old film, new film.
New film.
Genre.
It's got sci-fi elements.
Okay.
So it's post 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Genre? Spy elements. What is? But that's
No. So its genre is it's action sci-fi. You're gonna kick yourself.
Sorry, it cut out. I had to
Action sci-fi.
Action sci-fi. Is it Marvel or superhero or?
Nope.
Cleansing veil on which true beliefs are forged. The one place where all colonists be the same regardless of what type of. Is it Star Wars?
Nope.
Star Trek?
Nope.
Sci-fi elements. I feel I know this. What's the
Yeah,
year?
me too. It's like
It's 2014.
2014.
2014.
It's not Elysium, is it?
Nope. Do you want me to read you out the original?
No. I love the okay, read out the original.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Battle is the great redeemer. It is the fiery crucible in which the true heroes are forged. The one place where all men truly share the same rank, regardless of what parasitic scum they were going in.
Not Live Die Repeat, is it?
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
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 Michelle, have you watched Edge of Tomorrow?
No.
That's fair enough.
Good film.
But you had me when the void is like the great prophet. Like I did not think to link that to battle. I was like thinking of like, oh, it's gonna be like some sci-fi like space thing where like it's like people go in.
I was
like, oh.
I was originally gonna have War is the Great Something, but it became so difficult to find synonyms and things that could work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I think you did very well on that. The only thing I
liked
changed,
it. I really did.
Well, I would like the bit where the one place where all colonists truly shame. You think I've gone with all people there or something. Truly share the shame.
Well, no, because it was supposed to be like Nathaniel.
I know, but yeah, and I don't think infested scum would have been would have said like poor people or something. I don't know. I know because you've gone for parasite, but it's like infested scum. Versus not. I think like we took the term parasite as, oh look, you've got a parasite, take some antibiotics. Whereas the infested is kind of like, oh, you've got a parasite, kill it with fire. So I think it's a bit different in the term parasite there because you mean like
it's
like,
different.
I mean, let's not go into terms on Warframe. I mean, parody bits and all the Lake Star things aside.
I think Loz's internet cut out and he didn't hear that, so he's lucky.
No, I'm gonna go.
That's fine.
I think he's gonna go freeze.
He's
gonna take a big old sip of his like
big old sip of disconnect. I was gonna go.
I'll do the same thing.
There's nothing in. Oh, he wins.
Jeez, that is massive.
How many liters is that?
I think it is
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2. I don't know. It's like a big Canada mug. Celebrating 150
that-
years of Canada.
That looks more like a
2
stein.
liter mug.
It sounds plastic.
Yep.
I need a bigger mug.
That's got to be a liter.
At least, yeah.
Liter and a half.
It was full of like a sugary Slurpee drink, by the way.
How much of a sugar rush did you get?
I didn't drink all of it.
Do you just tip 3/4 of it out onto the street or something?
I mean, you shouldn't drink all that at once. Like, that's not smart at all. But no, I think it's like a liter to a liter and a half. It's a pretty cool thing.
Loz is now going to try and one up you with a 2-liter mug. Is that good for your wrist? Anyway, let's end the episode.
If I go to TennoCon, I want to cheers with your big mug, Loz, and you can try and one up my mug.
He needs to get a new mug now. He's looking at it right now. Have you found anything? Yes, the answer is yes. Right, moving on. That's it for this episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you like the episode, please leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know when the next episode comes out. And, feel free to, but how much have you just spent?
Is it about £13?
Jeez, right, okay. And
2-liter mug!
Oh
my god.
Outro time. We're aborting, we're getting out of this.
Yeah.
Dive. Not into the mug.
Soon I will be able to.
I actually did a video where